And we are back with another Black with No Cream podcast. New episode every single Sunday. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, a.k.a. Ben Real vs. World. I'm in my hotel in Scotland right now, out here by myself. Psych, I'm not. If you were listening to the first episode of Season 2, I'm back. The podcast is back. But it's not always going to be interviews because I said I was traveling. I didn't say why I was traveling. But the cat's out the bag. I'm on tour. This time, I'm with Jay-Z and Beyonce shooting video for them. On the Run 2 tour is fucking crazy. I don't even know how to explain how excited I am, and to have this opportunity is nuts for me. So yeah, it's, I'm gonna be on the run for a while. On the Run with Black with No Cream podcast, and I'm gonna be trying to keep up with these podcast episodes. The first season, I interviewed someone every single time, and obviously I'm by myself out here, so I might not be able to interview people every time, so I started those solo episodes. I got a lot of good feedback off of that, so I appreciate everyone who listened to the first episode. I'm going to try to make those sick every single time and offer you guys some tips and all that shit in every single episode, but this one is special because I happened to record an interview with a good homie of mine named Kai in LA before I left like a month ago, so this episode is crazy. He is the illest artist, street artist, guru, whatever you want to call him. He's like the illest one. And get on Instagram, Kai Art. Go look him up right now. This dude's traveled all over the world with his art. He's got a full team now. He's got his own fucking massive warehouse thing in LA and makes the illest shit there. He's been doing the craziest installations and working with the biggest brands and artists and DJs, and I don't know if DJs is right. I'm so tired. It's like 3:30 in the morning and I'm in fucking Scotland. Scotland, that's crazy. I just want to get this podcast out. Tomorrow's Sunday. I don't want to fuck it up, so I'm trying to make sure I get that to you. So anyway, Kai, please tune into the story. You guys have to hear what he has to say. This dude has gone through all the shit. He's been the broke artist, the brokest artist, and rose to the top. And it has never been easy for him. And that's a common thread with all the people I've ever had as guests on the podcast. So anyway, tune into this shit. I appreciate you guys listening. There's no Black with No Cream merch right now. I'm obviously not home, so I can't send you anything. This hoodie I'm wearing, though, is dope. A homie made it for me. BWNC just printed it right here, and I think I might do these in the future. So if you're watching the YouTube element of this podcast, let me know if you like the idea of this getting printed. I'll try to do that shit in more mugs later. But other than that, the only way you can support is just by sharing the fuck out of this. So please share this podcast. Tell people about Kai. Tell people about Black with No Cream. If you want to join the creative community, please do. BWNC.com/join. We are waiting for you to fucking get in there. We have 3,000 plus members strong, and it is lit as fuck. Yeah, that's it. All right, keep creating and enjoy the work week. And last but not least, how did I do this shit before? Yeah, I don't know. This is the most epic fucking podcast intro ever created, and I'm gonna play that shit right motherfucking now.
Attention.
If you stop this podcast recording at any time, you will die.
I don't want to die.
Do you want to live?
You have 24 hours to share this podcast with 5 people or you will die.
I'm kidding, you won't die. You're just weak shit for not sharing.
And the winner of the best motherfucking podcast goes to...
Black with No Cream.
What do you think?
It's so fucking dumb and so fucking Ben Haggerty.
I knew you would say that. All right, this is it. I'm starting the podcast right now. This is episode, I don't fucking know.
Season 2, episode 1.
Season 2, episode 1. Kai thinks that I should do that and call first season the time where I stopped, and then the second season the time where I started again.
Your life also changed between season 1 and season 2.
That is crazy. This is like a real TV show.
This is season 2.
Wow.
You don't have the same life anymore.
That is true. Well, I'll get to that later, guys. Right now, I'm in a undisclosed location with the mastermind Kai. One of the illest. All right, the guru of life.
No, I wish.
The merch selling.
We don't sell too much merch. I'm sorry. But
all right, that's it. He sucks.
I'm
gonna end this right now.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for.
No, all right. Kai is I think you're one of the illest artists.
Thank you.
I put it in the group that you were one of the illest artists that I know. I don't know a whole lot. I've only lived here for like 2.5 years, so I've only gotten to meet like a handful of people. I think you might know. Do you know Morley? Have you met Morley?
I've heard of Morley.
Yeah, he's like a good
we've
family
crossed
friend.
paths, but we never really met.
Yeah.
And I think our directions kind of ventured off into like kind of different directions.
Sure.
So because of that, we've never really had a reason to like meet.
So that's the
that
thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, it makes
It's
total
like
sense.
someone who makes rock and roll and someone who makes R&B music. The likelihood of them working together becomes way slimmer because their genres are so different.
But I think right now, if you go and see Florida Georgia Line on tour, you might see Nelly.
Yeah.
You feel me?
But Nelly's
so it's possible.
But Nelly made a country album.
True.
So,
Weird.
that's what I'm saying.
No, all right.
But I do respect what he's done. Like he did get up for a minute, and he was like the only one getting up for like a quick minute.
He's been killing it. That was like that was my first true, if you call that street art. I don't know.
That's probably street art.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like the authentic version of street art.
Okay, word.
Like,
what would you describe your art?
I think that I was lucky enough. I think I started off as a street artist, and I was kind of bored of what street art was at the time.
Right.
So I decided to just push that a little further and become like an artist, if that makes sense.
So you would just you wouldn't say I'm a street artist. I'm a gallery artist. I don't know.
I introduced myself as a street artist because in 2018 the word artist has been so watered down that a dude who spits 16 bars on is now an artist.
Right.
So to me, like, if you just say you're an artist, a lot of times people will be like, oh, do you have a mixtape? Or, oh, what movie are you in? It's like, no, I paint. Or I make installations or sculpture. But if you say I'm a street artist, they can kind of like quickly understand who you are and what you kind of do, I guess.
Well, and I think that there's so much content out there now around street art, and to have like a Banksy set the international wave of like mainstream people associate that type of art or creating that would be outside of just a studio. You know what I mean? You're not just painting this picture here, but you're out in the streets doing whatever you're doing. You're traveling all around the world doing installations and stuff. I think that maybe people gravitate towards that term. I don't know. That's interesting.
The street art term, I think, came from the idea like you wanted to make art, but you weren't accepted in galleries. You weren't accepted in these institutional forms of making art, that you just went to the streets and you became like the artist of the streets.
Yo, that's really dope, because that's like the whole punk skateboarding, like
that's where it came from. Like a lot of the first street artists, a lot of the first guys that got up in the streets were either graffiti writers who were trying to get their name out there, trying to kill time, kind of like, but they were skaters. Most of them were skaters. Most of them played in a rock and roll band. Like, it's like that real grunge style or grunge way of life is what created street art.
Which is sick, because it's always like against the grain and like competitive with the law
it
or
used
whatever.
It used to be like that. Now in 2019 or 28, like
everyone wants you to come fuck up their shit.
Everyone's like, yo, come tag on my building.
Is it like that though?
Yeah, like I get DMs all the time. Like, here's my address. If you're in my city, please do something on my building.
Wow.
Please, like,
anything goes.
Anything, like, people will take anything I put on a building now.
I believe
like,
that.
5 years ago, it was like, please let me paint on your wall, and now it's like, come paint on my wall, whatever you want.
So would you say that honestly you've always followed the law by asking first?
No, never.
No.
I started as like the most reckless kid there. Like, I was the most reckless person.
What's the one thing that you feel terrible about, like, ruining with your, not like ruining for them? Your art maybe made that shit more valuable, but at the time, like, did you ever like spray paint someone's like fucking, I don't know, like a church stained glass window?
No, never. I heard the story about a guy who did a church. I don't know, this is kind of like a famous myth, I guess, or story.
Yeah.
That a guy goes to court one day and the judge opens the case and he says, "Sir, you spray painted on a church." And he said, "Yes, sir, sorry, I didn't know at the time it was a church." He goes, "It clearly says church on the side of the wall and on the front of the building." And the graffiti writer or street artist was like, "Sorry, I didn't know." He goes, "Well, you're shit out of luck, because that's my church." So
like his personal church, or he just what the fuck?
He like attends that church.
So he's like, I'm
gonna get you, like, so that you, like, no one fucks with churches in my church anymore.
That's some cool shit right there.
So that's like a famous like myth story.
That's crazy. It's like the church got the law on their back. Like.
Yeah. So like it's also being respectful at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put love out there and trying to trying to give everyone a little bit of light in their day.
Mm.
So I'm not trying to go in there and ruin something. And
But before you figured that out about
Yeah.
yourself, because I used to, I'm all about the
Yeah.
positivity and love shit too.
Yeah.
But I remember being like a reckless like skateboarder punk kid, and we would just like, I don't know, throw shit at cars or something.
like I don't think I was ever like, I'm more competitive minded than that. Like I was more about like, if I saw my homie put up 5 posters, I was gonna put up 100,
Right.
just to say like, haha, you 5,
Yeah.
put up 100
Beat
last
it.
night. 100? What do you mean? I put up 20 times the amount you put up. Like you can't catch me.
Right.
But I did put up art in certain places that I didn't know I was not allowed to put art up in. Like I did put up art in Paris on a monument without knowing it was a historical monument.
Whoops. Did you get in trouble for that?
Not in Paris. In Paris,
Oh.
they were kind of cool, but I did do it in other cities. I don't want to say on this
Right, right.
podcast, but I did get in trouble.
So what do you like? Are you getting in trouble post you doing it, or they're catching you doing it, or
So I've been caught in the act
yeah?
5 times, and I've been caught post as well. Getting caught in the act is a way more traumatizing experience than getting caught post.
How so? Because you're not finishing your work.
A, you're not finishing your work. B, well, the first time I got caught, like really, really caught, I was in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
At the time I was doing a stop sign series, is where I would take the word stop and add words above it or below it to make it a phrase.
Right.
Like don't stop dreaming, or stop genocide, or stop obesity, or
Showing
stop
your dick to women. and shit.
yeah, I wish. We try to keep it to one word because then it gets expensive.
Yeah. Right.
So we had just done like close to 150 stop signs
God
in
damn.
Beverly Hills, and we were like, stop bitching, or stop procrastinating, or don't stop loving. We'd just done like a whole section of Beverly Hills, like La Cienega to Robertson,
Covering the
Olympic
whole
to Wilshire,
spot.
every single stop sign.
Damn.
Like on foot, like slowly one by one, doing every single stop sign.
Is this like multiple nights or
One night.
This is a one night.
Me and my best friend Elliot.
Damn.
So we went in and like, I would put him on my shoulders for the ones that we couldn't reach.
Yeah.
And he would stand on my shoulders, put it up, and then come down, and then we would take turns because you get tired
Yeah,
while
no
carrying
shit.
someone. And we got back in the car, and we're driving out of Beverly Hills. And if you ever been to LA, you know that Beverly Hills has its own police department. So
Beverly Hills cops.
yeah, they have like their own police department, and you know, if the minute you're out of Beverly Hills, they can no longer touch you.
Really?
Yeah, they
I didn't know that.
They can stop you and have another officer come in, but you're out of their jurisdiction. Like, you're safe.
Interesting. It's like campus police
Yeah,
or whatever.
kind of.
Yeah, weird.
So we were like one left turn away from being out of Beverly Hills jurisdiction when we got stopped by the police, and they came in like ready, tapped on the window with a gun, like, sir, can you put your window down? And never being an aggressive person, I really don't think I'm an aggressive person. Having a gun pointed in your face for putting up art in the streets was like a shock. Like,
yeah.
Emotional shock. Like, what did I do? Like, who did I kill? Who did I assault?
Yeah.
So they had the gun in my face. My best friend sitting in the car with me. At the time, I was like, if you don't know, or you guys will come to find out, I don't drink, smoke weed, smoke cigarettes. I'm not into substances. Never was. I don't think I ever will be.
You're like, I'll give up 5 of my friends that do all of the above.
I wish.
If you let me go, bro. Rappers included. Come on, let me go.
But I didn't know. But my best friend, me and him were best friends for like since I was like 7 years old. He was embarrassed to tell me that he was smoking weed.
Oh, just because he didn't want to.
Because I didn't smoke weed.
Right.
And he didn't want me to know that. He didn't want to fuck up our friendship.
Right.
So he didn't tell me. So the cops come to the window, guns out and everything. Sir, we're gonna need you and your friend to get out of the vehicle. And he got scared, and he had like a little dime bag on him.
Yeah.
Drops it in the car, hoping like no one finds it. And they cuff me and him, and they lay us stomach on the ground in the middle of the street. Now they've blocked off the street, and they call for backup. Now guns in our face, cuffed, laying down, stomach on the ground. 4 more squad cars show up, so a total of 10 police officers for 220. Like, I was 19, he was 18. Two like kids
Yo.
doing street art. You have 10 police
And
officers.
they were like fairly positive messages.
Yeah,
right?
everything was positive. Like, and now I'm being told like we're gonna search your vehicle. Now in my car is every kind of poster at the time I had ever put up. Like, you have Morons posters, Bankruptcy Express
shit.
posters, like a poster I had done against alcohol, like everything in the car. Like,
This is him.
yeah, like you.
Fuck.
There's never been like a more red-handed moment ever. Like,
Yeah.
you caught me with everything.
Oh man.
So they're emptying out my car and they're literally stacking everything up in piles and kind of like doing inventory of what's in the car. And the officer finds a dime bag.
Fuck. Fuck.
And I did not know what that was. Like, I'm this kid, like, I was obsessed with art and sports. No idea what this is. And the cop comes up to me. Now, I'm the older one out of me and my friend.
Right.
He goes, "What is this?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like,
Did you just plant this shit on me, bro?
I was like, "What is..." I really had no, like, people think I'm an idiot, but I had no idea, like what is that?
Yeah.
And I asked the cop, like, "What is that?" He goes, "Who the fuck do you think I am? You think I was born yesterday?" I was like, "No, officer, I swear to God, I don't know what it is." And now my friend is so afraid, he's not telling me anything. And he's just laying on the floor next to me. And he's just quiet, laying on the floor.
Yeah.
And the police walks away. And now they have all my art out. This
Oh my
tiny little
God.
dime bag. I'm like sitting with my best friend on the like laying on the floor with my best friend. Blocked off the street. 5 squad cars. Like, sirens on, like the lights on. And you feel the pressure. You're like, damn, this is it. Like, I'm done. Like, at the time, Shepherd Ferry was on trial for putting up a poster and was going to get 7 years.
Fuck.
So, like, you're thinking in your head, like, yo, I did Beverly Hills. Like, they're
Yeah.
going to really get me. And I look at my friend. I'm like, what is that? He's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm like, bro, what the fuck is that? Like, that's not mine. I know that's not mine. And they keep searching the car, and they find a watch in the car. Now, the watch was a watch I had bought myself. And that was, like, my first gift to myself
Right.
from being an artist. Like, I finally made it, quote unquote, and I bought myself a watch, which at the time was like the dumbest investment.
Like a bougie watch?
Yeah, like I bought myself like a really bougie watch, and I thought I had made it, but in like retrospective, hindsight, like I hadn't made shit. But the watch was like, to me, it was like my dream watch as a kid, and I made some money.
What kind of watch?
It was a Rolex. I bought myself a little Rolex. But it's kind of embarrassing to say because you're a 19-year-old kid with a Rolex, and like that was like
That's so common now, probably, like or earlier. Like,
yeah.
damn, that's fucked up. So
But
they find the Rolex.
They find the Rolex, and now they think I stole the Rolex too. So they're like, "Where'd you get this watch?" I was like, "That's my watch." They're like, "No, that can't be your watch." I'm like, "That's my watch."
Fuck?
They're like, "Why is it not on your wrist?" I'm like, "Well, I was just in the streets doing some illegal things. I'm not wearing a Rolex."
Yeah, what the hell?
But I was like, I was already embarrassed enough to own the watch, because after I bought it, I realized like what 19-year-old wears an expensive watch on their wrist. So I was like in an uncomfortable situation, and then they find it in the car. They think it's stolen. There's a dime bag. There's hundreds of posters. Like, in my head, I'm like, this is it. Like, thank you guys. Like, it was a great run. Like, my friend's like tripping out. He's like,
He still hasn't told you.
So he's like just quiet. Like, he's like shut down, mentally shut down.
Man.
Like, he's out. Like, nothing. Not one word's coming out of him. Not even like, what's your name? Like, not answering. He's just
fuck.
So we're sitting there on the floor. Like, all of this is like happening really quick, and an officer comes over and he goes, "Why did you make this one?" And he shows me one that's about alcohol. It's called Abysmal. At the time, it was like an Absolute bottle, and it says Abysmal vodka. And there's like a little poem I wrote, like
On the bottle or something?
yeah,
Okay.
because like the Absolute bottle has like that long
Yeah.
kind of.
You replace that.
Yeah, I replaced it with like a little poem. Like, this is like the liquid of courage. If you like consume too much, it takes over and makes you do things that you shouldn't do.
Right.
And he's like, "Why did you make this?" I'm like, "Well, there's a real alcohol issue in the United States, especially within teens. And I'm in high school, and I see this happen all the time. Like, you go to a party and everyone starts drinking and they become reckless. So this is kind of my way of like opening people's eyes. Like, this is not the greatest liquid in the world. Like,
Right.
there's other things. Like, you don't need to drink alcohol." And he looks at me and goes, "I'm an alcoholic. I just became sober.
Oh, shit.
Can I have this?" And I'm on the floor cuffed, like, I'm going to jail. I'm like, yeah, take it. Like,
Still got the gun drawn on your canine?
No more gun. Yeah, he's like, can I have the poster? I was like, yeah, you can have the poster. Then another officer, like, discreetly walks over, like, why did you make...
Oh, they came up on your
Yeah.
ass. Some early guy work.
Yeah, they're like, why'd you make the Morons thing? I'm like, well, my dad was a smoker. I wanted him to quit smoking, so I made Morons, and he finally quit smoking. And she's like, can I have one? I was like, yeah, you can have one. And then the chief of the police station shows up, and he goes, what are you doing in Beverly Hills?
Where'd you like, what area are you from? You're from LA originally?
Yeah, I'm from LA.
Okay. But how far were you from Beverly Hills?
Like, I'm like 45 minutes away.
So they're
from
checking
Beverly
your
Hills.
ID and shit.
They're
Like,
checking
yo,
my
where
IDs.
the fuck?
Like, why? What are you doing in Beverly Hills? Like, what
Yeah.
are you doing in Beverly Hills? I'm like, I go to school with a lot of the kids that grow up in this neighborhood, and I realize that they need these messages more than anyone.
Oh, crazy.
And he looks at me and he goes, you're not wrong.
Right.
I want you to know that. Like, you hit it on, like, you hit it on the spot. Like, these people do need these messages. But he goes, you have to realize that these people are really bored and have a lot of money, and someone was watching you from the window and called the cops on you. That's why we stopped you. If not, we would have never known you were here. He's like, I love what you did, but go do it somewhere else.
Oh, that's dope.
And I was like, oh, dope. I'm like, what does that mean for tonight, though?
Yeah. Yeah. Noted.
I'm like, what are we doing about tonight? He goes, the little bag, I never saw it. Never happened. It's gone.
Wow.
I'm like, thank you. Like, and now he finally tells me, like, that's marijuana. I was like, oh my God, crazy. Like, that's not mine, though.
Yeah, you can have that too
Yeah.
if you want. Like,
Yeah, that's not mine. He's like, that bag gone. Like, that, my officers never found it. And I was like, okay, cool. And he goes, the watch, is it really yours? I'm like, yeah, that's my watch. He goes, okay, they're putting it back where they found it. He goes, as for these posters, we have inventoried everything. You're going to put it back in your car. I'm like, awesome. He goes, but I don't want to see any of these in Beverly Hills. I'm
this
like,
is crazy.
Crazy, right? And he goes, you have damaged a substantial amount of stop signs in Beverly Hills, though. I'm like, yes, I'm sorry, officer, but I think the messages aren't, like, they're relevant to this area.
Plus, no one in Beverly Hills is looking at that
That's
shit
it,
anyway.
yeah.
The stop signs are just...
And he goes, we're going to let you off easy tonight. I was like, what does that mean? He goes, you and your friend are going to be followed by 2 squad cars with the highlights that, they can control them.
Yeah.
And we're going to put the lights on you while you take off every single one of them.
I'd be like, damn, what's the fine, though? Could I take the fine?
But I was just happy, like,
Yeah.
yo. And he's like, we're going to uncuff you, and this is what's going to happen. And I was like, all right. Uncuffed me. 2 squad cars followed us with the lights on, and we undid everything we had done that night.
Holy shit.
Crazy.
How long did that take you?
It took us like another 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Oh, my God.
When everything was said and done and they let us go, I looked at my friend. I'm like, by the way, was that your marijuana? He goes, yeah. I'm like, why didn't you just tell me? He goes, you know how scared I was? And that was the end of the night. We went to 7-Eleven. We got I got a naked juice, I think, and he got like a vitamin water and like some candy. And we sat on the car and we're like, yo, that was the closest call you could ever get in your life.
That's fucking crazy.
And they only let us off because the messages in the work.
Right. You would have been fucked.
They really liked what we were doing. They actually loved the messages in my work. So they let us off. If not, I would have been fucked.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been over.
Wow.
So that's like that was the first time I ever got stopped by the police.
That's fucking crazy.
And then every single time after that, the one thing that saved me every single time was the message in the work. Isn't that, like, that's the craziest thing to me. Like, you're facing
criminal charges.
Like, this is the end. Like, you might be in jail. Like, there's serious jail time for street art and graffiti. Like, it is not a joke. People think like, oh yeah, you're just doing that. Like, you can get up to 7 years, I think.
That's fucking crazy.
Fine $250,000. Like, this is not a joke. Like, they don't mess around with this.
Damn. You guys got so fucking lucky.
I got lucky 5 more times.
5 more times?
Like, later on. Like,
well, have you gotten a fine for anything yet?
No, I haven't.
You haven't gotten one fine?
No, thank God.
Knock on wood. That's crazy.
I have had, like, potential fines, but I have never gotten, like, I've never had to pay the fine, I guess.
Man, if those cops still have that early ass work,
oh, that's crazy too.
That would be sick.
That'd be crazy.
You should look into it, dog. Like, you should really, like, go back? Because they probably wrote it down or something.
Yeah, or so, I don't even want to. I don't want to like open my
Open it
case
up.
and like leave that closed, like shut that. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy though that the meaning of the work is what got me off, and like I think that's when I really told myself. I had told myself earlier when I started like the messages in the work are the most important part.
Absolutely.
But once I had situations like that, and once I had gotten like fan mail, like you've helped me out through my day, or you got me through like a rough week, I realized like the message is the most important part. The execution is 10%. Like if who cares if it's painted perfectly? Who cares if a circle looks like a circle or a heart looks like a heart? If someone can understand it and decode it, and the message is there and understood, that's 100%. Yeah,
that's the point. Fuck, that's sick. So when did you start this shit?
So I started when I was 14, 15. Yeah. Started my first mural was in 2009.
2009.
Yeah. So my first big mural was in 2009.
In LA.
In LA. And then I did posters. And posters are cool. Like, I think everyone in the beginning goes through like the same few steps. I think everyone starts like they want to paint a mural, and then they don't know how to paint a mural.
And they're like, damn, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of work. It's not like when you paint on a piece of paper or you draw on a piece of paper or a canvas, everything is within like arm's reach. So you're drawing a circle. The circle's you can see the full circle.
Right.
You're drawing a happy face. You can see the full happy face. When you're doing a mural, you're so up close to it that you don't really see what you're doing. Like you see like
true
a little piece of what you're doing. So when you sometimes stand back, you're like, oh, that doesn't look right. So that was the hardest thing for me to learn. Like after I did my first mural, I thought it was perfect. I'm like, oh my God, I'm standing up against this wall. I'm like, this is going to be perfect. And I got off and I was like, what? That looks nothing like I thought it was going to look.
I got to start with, so what do you do? Start over? Or like
no, like I made notes on a piece of paper. I'm like, I kind of redrew what I had drawn like on the wall, and I made notes like this needs to come out, this needs to come in, and I go back up and I touched it up and then came back, stood back, did it again, did it again.
Damn.
Until you get it down.
Right.
And then, so I did my first mural in 2009. And then, reading books and studying and realizing like the quickest way to get your message out there.
Yeah.
Was with posters.
And when you say posters, are you talking about like where they do the paste shit on it and it becomes like part of the wood or whatever?
Yeah. So wheat paste. They call
wheat
it
paste.
Wheat pasting posters, but to me they're just wheat paste.
Okay,
like
yeah.
thing you eat wheat.
Right.
It's actually the original glue is made out of wheat. And it smells like shit.
They don't make it like that anymore?
A lot of artists don't know how to make it.
Oh. So do you hand make wheat glue?
Yeah. You're supposed to hand make wheat glue.
But
you can go to Home Depot and buy it.
Oh,
pre-made.
okay, word. I was gonna say someone's missing out. I'm like, I'll make gallons of that shit all night.
There's like even a street artist that I saw when I first started used to get up, and now his whole business is called Earl's Wheat Paste Glue. Wheat Paste Glue.
Damn.
He makes his own glue for street artists. But I think that's kind of cheating.
Right, because you're just like...
Because you're not like... You're
lazy about it.
You're like, you just make your own glue, bro. You buy a fucking pot and boil your water, boil your wheat, and like make it. I'm not going to give all the secrets away.
I was going to say, how long does it take to make that shit?
It takes like 15, 20 minutes.
To make like a gallon or something?
To make like...
A bucket?
15 gallons. Like,
Holy fuck.
You can make a lot real quick.
Oh, damn. That's dope.
It's just flour and water and some other stuff.
Right.
You can Google it, I'm sure.
So how did you just said you're not going to give up the secret. So how do you learn that shit? Like, did you just try to bump into other artists, or like, is it out there? The secret's out there?
I think every secret's out there.
Yeah.
You just have to really want it.
Right.
And I think the difference between someone who goes and gets it and someone who just kind of waiting for it to stumble upon it is what differentiates like the ones that are going to last throughout time and the ones that are just going to like pop up and kind of die off. And
you already just talked about like even doing murals, trial and error. So it's like you have to have that one or the energy to fail before something clicks, you know?
Yeah, I failed a lot. Like my first 200 posters were ripped off the walls. Like I handmade there's artists that that you might meet. They print them out of printers and I handmade my first posters.
Damn.
I have videos and footage and photos of me like sitting in a garage, hand making every single poster and hand cutting out every single poster, and then going out in the street at night after I spent all day working on them, putting them up in the street, and then going the next morning to take a photo and someone ripped it.
Shit.
And then it's like,
damn, that's so much fucking
so
time.
irritating. And then you put another one up right where they ripped it to find out they're going to rip it again. And you keep doing the same thing. Like, and it's like a vicious cycle until one of you give up. Either the artist is going to give up or the person ripping it is going to give up.
That's super tight.
And then the last one standing is the winner. And I don't ever give up.
I'll be back.
And
Damn.
And there's even been murals and like people will paint over my mural or ruin it. I'm like, I don't worry. Like, I'll do it again.
Right.
And I'll do it again. And I'll do it again. Like, oh, I got to stay up an extra hour to beat you at it. I'll stay up an extra hour. Like, you ripped it at 12:02. By 1:02, it'll be done again. And you'll be pissed.
But what's the point? Is the point you just need it to be there because you know you need eyeballs on it, or?
No, the point is, I'm not going to let you stop my dream. Just because you don't like my dream, you're not going to stop me. You're just a hurdle for me to jump over.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get over this hurdle. Like, you're not big enough of a hurdle to stop me.
Right.
Even a wall is not going to stop me. I'm going to, like, bulldoze through the wall. I will find some way to get around this wall.
Right.
If it's through it, over it, around it, like, I'm going to get through. And I think that's what's made me, like, stand out a bit.
That's dope. That's super tight.
So it's kind of like this hunger. Kind of like you. Like, you came out here to LA.
Right.
Didn't really know what you're doing. And you were just like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to work until it happens. And I think that's what makes people, like, last through time. Like,
yeah.
How many people have you met since you've been out in LA?
Like, a lot. Like, what do you mean? Like,
how many people who said, like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. Or I'm going to be a singer.
Oh, right.
A comedian. Oh, I'm going to make movies. Oh, I'm going to. And how many of them do you still, like, see them following their dreams?
No, for sure. It's crazy. You come through waves of
like
people.
Crazy amounts of waves. And then you start to see, like, oh, that person's still around. Oh, he's still doing what he said he was doing. Or she's still doing what she said she was doing. And then little by little, like, oh, she said she was going to do it, and she's still doing it. But now she's kind of popping. Oh, wow, she said she was doing what she said. She's doing what she said she was doing. She's kind of popping, but now, like,
she really...
the executive at ABC is noticing her. And, like, oh, and then, oh, she has her own show. Or, oh, she has 5 million followers, and people really understand what she's about.
I feel like that's the benefit of if you grow up athletic at all. You know what I mean? Which is funny because I feel like for the arts, most of it's just a bunch of nerds that grew up nerds. But I think that there's, like, something added, the value is added, and I don't think I ever saw this until right now. But, like, playing sports, you're competitive, and that's what you're talking about in this shit. It's like I compete with my brain. I compete with my failures. I want to make sure I go 100% at whatever it is and not give up. Oh, fuck, this! I just challenged myself to a 10-year challenge. You know what I mean? Like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? Like, I have to do this for 10 years because I just told myself I cannot.
Yeah, or you tell yourself, like, oh, like I told myself, oh, I'll never make a 360 sculpture. What? What did I just say to myself? We're making the 360 sculpture tomorrow. Like, really? That's what we're starting on tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean?
That's tight.
That's how it's been. To me, it's been like, or we'll bump into someone like, oh, you'll never make money with art. You'll never make it. What do you mean I'll never make it?
I just got a rollie, bitch. I just got the rollie and it's in the car, bitch.
Yeah, like that's how it is. Like, people saying, like even my father, who, like, loves me dearly and cares about me, at times I said, what you're making right now, it's never gonna get you to where you need to be. My dad has looked at some of my art and said, this is trash.
Damn.
My own father, like.
Is your father an artist?
My father does work in the art. He was a designer, a clothing designer, and then he has a very good eye. Like, people, like, call him the eye, or
right.
Marco's eye. So when he sees something, he knows if it's gonna work or not. But I've been trying to prove him wrong. Like, you didn't think that this was gonna work? Don't worry, I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
those are the people you need.
Yeah, you need that. But at the same time, I think those are the people you look to get validation from the most. It's kind of like when your coach tells you, like, you're not the game winner. You're not the game shooter. Like, you're not gonna shoot the game winning shot.
Yeah, you're not a starter.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like, I'm gonna practice these free throws until you let me shoot that game winning shot. I'm gonna practice that 3-pointer until you let me shoot that game winning shot.
Yeah, super true. I'm sidebarring real quick just because in case in the audio or in in the video, just so you know where we're at, because I don't think I said it in the beginning. No. We're in Kai's studio. Like I said, undisclosed location. But there's people working. You have, like, a shop, and there's some people doing some shit on the other side.
So, yeah, we have a shop. We have KDNA, who's in here editing. We have Matthew, who's, like, just holding it down for me because he holds it down.
Right. Then
you have David, and you have a couple other people working in the shop. So it's a little loud, but...
Which is dope that you got a whole squad, because I don't think a lot of people would ever know. I don't know if I knew that you had a squad until we shot something in your studio, Snipes commercial.
Mm-hmm.
We did that Snipes commercial
Yeah.
in your old studio,
Yeah.
and there was like 3 people in there. I was like, wait, who the fuck are they? I
Yeah.
thought you did all this shit.
So I did do all the shit.
No,
so,
I believe that.
So when I first started, there was nobody. It was literally me and like a dream, and
Yeah.
I got my first paycheck. So like the whole story starts off with my dad, which is
Okay.
kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah.
My dad was smoking cigarettes, and I don't know if anyone has had Dare come to their school.
I think everyone has.
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing? Hasn't Dare come to every school?
I don't know. Like,
My dad used to be a Dare teacher, bro.
No way. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Dare came to my school, and they kind of told us like the things about smoking, like smoking kills, like people shortens their lifespan, blah blah blah. And knowing that my dad was like a heavy duty cigarette smoker, and hearing what they were saying, kind of affected me.
It's like the first time it clicks.
It clicked like, oh my dad's hurting himself. But it hit me even closer to home because I never met my dad's father or mother, and I never met my mom's father.
Mm-hmm.
They all passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in like school, when you're like 7, 8, 9, like everyone's like, oh my god, my grandma gave me this, or oh, I spent the weekend at my grandpa's, or I went
Right.
fishing with my grandpa, or like there's all these stories that come and like all these memories that are associated with like your grandparents that I don't have because they were never around. My grandmother died of an illness when she was really young. My dad was 12, 13. So like really never had her around. My grandfather died of cancer.
Yep.
My dad's mother, I don't really know the story. Like, we just don't talk about them. Like, that's like, we don't open up those wounds.
Right.
And, like me and my siblings, we let my parents have that. And like,
Yeah.
So, I didn't want that to be the case with my kids.
Right.
I really didn't want that to be the case with my kids. So I used to like do like the most childish things to my dad's cigarettes. Like, I would hide them. Like, just hide them in the house. Like, I know where he kept them, and I would grab them and hide them. And after eating dinner, he'd be like, I'm gonna go smoke a stogie or a cigarette. And he'd be like, where are my cigarettes? And
Gets pissed.
gets pissed, looks all around the house, can't find them. And then I was like, yo, this just gets him angry. Like, what am I doing making him angry?
Yeah.
It's not helping. He smokes 2 cigarettes now instead of 1. So then I like thought of like a little trick. Like, if you wet them, they can't light.
Oh, God.
So I used to take them and dip all the tips of the cigarettes in water. And they would dry, but now they don't light
Right.
the same. So he would take one out and it doesn't light. He
Just
throws it.
struggling.
And I thought I was doing something. Like, I thought I was like, oh my God, this is helping my dad. This is helping my dad. This is helping my dad. But no, he'd just buy another pack. And now he's just wasting money.
Right.
And I was very conscious of all these things growing up. Like, a pack of cigarettes is $7. Like,
Yeah, that's really
that's a lot of
interesting.
money. Like, he's smoking. He's dying. Like, I'm catching the smoke now. Like,
Right.
so I made Morons for my dad. My dad being an art head and a designer, really, and English being his second language. Like, you can tell my dad, and my dad being the most stubborn person on earth, you can tell my dad a million things at a time. You can tell him the same thing a million times or a million things at a time. Like, nothing gets through to him. Like, he doesn't care. He is going to do whatever he feels like he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, me knowing that he likes art and design, I made him Morons. I mean,
This is like the first thing?
first thing ever.
And you weren't like casually drawing, or were you artistic in that sense?
I always hung out with like the girls at school. I was always like the artist. Like, oh my god, like you drew that. Like, oh, that's really cool. Or,
right.
Like, I always like.
So you had something there.
I just like liked it. My dad was like in the arts. Like, we grew up no TV, no cable, no internet. Like, a lot of books. Like, we had art books everywhere. Like, we don't have pictures in our house. We had like paintings in the house. Like, art was always like a big factor, but like not like. You didn't realize it was a big factor. You're just like, oh, you don't have a painting in your house. Like, why don't you have a painting in your house?
Yeah.
Like, you have pictures of. Why do you guys have so many pictures of you and your siblings and your parents? Like, that's kind of creepy. We have like a big painting in the living room.
That's tight.
So like, art was always like around, and I was submersed in it, but I just didn't know what the purpose of it was. I was just like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is life. Like, life has art and good music, and the internet is like a distraction, and cable doesn't exist. And you go to school, you get good grades, you play sports.
That's it.
That's it. And like, we had art class, and you have fun in art class, and whatever.
So then, what was the Morons piece? Like, describe that.
So there's one up behind you. It's a cigarette pack. It
I don't know
says.
if you can see it in the video if you're watching this on YouTube.
I don't know.
Maybe that one. Okay, you can see it. It's a cigarette pack.
It's a cigarette pack. It's a Marlboro Red cigarette pack, which is like the most classic iconic cigarette pack, I
Mhm.
think, to date. And instead of reading filtered cigarettes, it says Foolish Choice. Instead of reading Marlboro, it reads Morons. And instead of reading 20 cigarettes, it reads Committing Suicide.
So sick. That shit's crazy.
So I made him that painting. I made my dad a small little painting, and I just left it in his bedroom because he came home late. He comes home late. He works hard.
Right.
And he woke me up, and he's like, "Thank you." He woke me up like in the middle of the night, like, "Are you awake?" Like, "Thank you." Like, "Thank you." I'm like, "What do you? What's happening?" He's like, "I got your painting, and I get it. I understand. Like, I'm an idiot for smoking. Thank you." He goes, and he like went in his pocket, grabbed a couple $100. He said, "I'm gonna support you. I believe in what you just did. Here's some money."
How old are you?
I'm like, 2009. That's 10 years. I'm like 15,
Damn.
14. He's like, "I believe in what you just did. Here's some money. Do me a favor though. Don't go buy Jordans. Don't go buy a belt. Don't go buy a skateboard. Don't go buy cleats." I was a big soccer guy and a big skater. Like,
Right.
don't go waste your money on those things. Try and help other people the way you help me. So then I did a mural with that money, and then I like made posters with that money, and then I started getting up in the streets.
Damn.
Because I thought, how else do you help people? The only way to help people is to get this image in their face. I'm not good with the computer. I don't know how to send an email blast. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a kid. I like street art. I see it. Like, I'm gonna do the same thing,
Right.
but with a message.
So you were doing the Morons poster over and over, or were you
Just a Morons poster everywhere, over like the same red cigarette pack everywhere, like all of LA.
That's interesting that that's such a good move that I'm surprised that it wasn't right away like, I'm just going to make a bunch of random shit.
No, I just knew that I didn't like smoking, and I want to combat smoking. Like,
That was like your battle.
that was my battle. Like,
Interesting.
I
That's
hate
tight.
Philip Morris. I hate what they're doing to people. Like, there's no benefit to there is no benefit to smoking.
No.
People say like stress reliever. Like, there's a million other stress relievers. Like, it's just an addiction that you get caught onto, and like you get kind of stuck in it. And like, we can fight this.
Right. And it's
But-
a way for people, they think they're like passing time and shit, and all of a sudden it becomes like you're allotted that time at a job to like go
Yeah.
outside and smoke. It's like, what?
Like you're imprisoned to that cigarette break. Like, I need that cigarette break.
Yeah.
I need to go. Like, I gotta go wash my hands. I gotta go wash my face. I gotta like. You just become a slave to it. So that
Damn.
was my battle. And then once I realized that was working, I realized it was working for two reasons. I realized, one, I got some fan mail and hate mail.
This is when you
Like, first started.
How the fuck were you? That's my question. Is how do people find out who you are?
So on the poster, it said Kai on the bottom.
Are you just signing it?
Yeah, and then I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that if you liked it and if you didn't like it, you would want to reach out to me.
I thought it was gonna be like Kai and then PO box.
No, I just put Kai and I put my email address.
Oh, okay, cool. That makes sense.
I don't even know why I did that. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the thought process was. It was just like,
If they
you're gonna want to reach out, so
Yeah.
reach out, like, kind of thing. Like, I'm
Right.
putting up these posters and it was tiny, and my email address was super small on it, and the Kai was super small on it. It was just my way of saying, like, I left this mark. I don't want anyone else taking credit for what I did, kind of thing. Which is kind of like egotistical, I guess.
But
Yeah.
no, I mean that's protect your shit.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm a kid too. Like, I'm 15. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do what I've seen other people do as well as them.
Right.
I'm looking up to like other people, and I'm saying they did it this well. I should do it just as well, and
Yeah.
if not better. So I put my email address and my signature on.
So
it.
you get some fan mail.
I get
right
some
away.
I get my first email ever
remember it?
received. Yeah, it's like this lady. She's like, I'm driving down Fairfax and La Cienega, and I saw your poster. I'm driving down Fairfax and Beverly, and I saw your poster. I've been trying to quit smoking for 5 years. I pulled over, took a picture of the poster. It's now the screensaver of my phone, and I'm going to quit today.
Whoa.
And that's my first email ever. And I'm sitting in class on my little BlackBerry, and I read this. I'm like, oh, I like have like a little party.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy. I'm gonna get in trouble for having my phone out. I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, I'm like,
And no one around you.
no one
knows
around
what
me
the fuck
knows
you're-
what's happening. Like,
Wow, what a victory, dude.
and then a few days, like, there's people are ripping down my posters. Like, I'm still going out every night and doing my thing. And then I start getting hate mail. Like, how the fuck can you tell me how to spend my free time? Or how the fuck can you tell me that smoking is horrible? Like, this is my only escape from life. And like I'm getting like super love mail and super hate mail. Like I'm gonna kill you when I finally meet you. Let me be free. Like, and no one knows that this is coming from a 15-year-old kid.
Right.
Like this is a kid. Like people think I'm like some older guy, and I'm like a little kid putting up posters, and people. I'm getting like the most outlandish reactions on both sides of the poll.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, oh, this is really working. Like this is crazy. This is actually working. Let me make some other stuff. So I made Bankruptcy Express right after. I think you got a print.
Yeah.
Like
What made you do that?
There was a financial crash in 2009.
Yeah, 2009.
And being in school and like they kind of like you see it happen like to everyone around you, like kids, teachers, like you can see like everyone's
reacting to it. And
reacting, and you're like not really I didn't really understand what was happening. I'm 15 years old. I think I know everything. I've always thought I knew everything. I thought I understood everything. And I started asking around, like, what is this crash about? Oh, the stock market crashed. Oh, the bubble popped. People are like telling me like these terms. I'm like, I don't know what this means. So I finally asked one, like, yeah, the bank loaned money to people that couldn't afford to pay it back. Too many people have filed for bankruptcy. And now, like, there's no money to fill in those gaps, like those loans that were given out, and the market's crashing because of it. And later, do you learn like there's a AAA loan and a B loan, and what was happening where banks were giving people higher ratings than they really needed to, like than they deserved to have, and they were giving them more money than they should, and those people couldn't pay back, and then the bank had no money to fulfill those loans, and and you kind of start to like understand what's happening. And I realized the reason that the economy crashed, I'm like 15, and I'm like thinking to myself, the reason the economy crashed was because people were using credit cards and this fake money, this concept of credit, as real money, and they were spending too much money that they didn't have, and the bank didn't care, because in the bank's mind they're like, oh, they spent $20,000 and we're charging 5% interest, so that's going to be a lot more money. We'll keep giving them money because they're going to keep paying us back. But what the bank wasn't noticing is that they're just paying like the minimum payment, like you owe $20,000, $35, and they're like, okay, we'll give you another $10,000, and now you owe $80,000 in like a year, and like, how am I going to pay back $80,000? Like, I don't care. I'll just keep using credit cards, and I realized the credit style, the reason of credit was you become stuck to it forever. Like, if you read the whole thing, is like you put in your name, victim's name, and like as a member since like the year you joined, and like you're a victim to this fake money that you now owe everyone money. And you're making everyone bankrupt, and you're bankrupting yourself. Like, you have no value because you've taken out all this money. But you think you have a value because you have this credit line, but there's no value, and you're just bankrupting yourself, and you're bankrupting the bank, which is fucking up everyone else in the world. So that was my second piece.
How the fuck do you come up with that shit when you're fucking 15, dog? That's crazy.
So that was like my second piece. And I think I can speak about it and explain it a little bit better now because I'm a little older, but at the time it was just like, credit cards are fucking up the economy. We gotta stop credit cards.
You're just like, I'm gonna get them. They're like, what do you know about credit cards? Like, oh no, but I was
like, I just knew like you're using money that doesn't exist, and they're charging you more money for the money you're using. Like, what kind of idiot are you?
Right.
Like,
wow.
So that was my second piece.
And that just starts kind of picking up.
And then that it's a little bit like people. It was a little too deep for people, I think, and it was a little too bizarre. I think it's an actual credit card, and like the American Express logo is like frowning and crying as he's bankrupt, and it's like, you're a victim, you put your number, your name,
right?
It's kind of like, it's a little deep.
Damn.
And then my third piece, which like really blew me up, was lost values.
What do you mean by like boomed you up? Like people are now starting to find your name.
People like already with Morons and all these others, like Bankruptcy Express, people are like, oh my god, there's a guy named Kai, he's in the streets. Like, I'm doing interviews on the emails, and galleries are contacting me.
Oh shit.
I'm like 15, 16, like, whoa, like this could be a career choice. Like, I'm still in high school, I'm thinking I'm gonna play soccer, like I don't care about art, it's just fun. And I'm like, but it's kind of picking up, and people are like, oh damn, like, but no one knows it's me. Like, it's just like this persona on the internet.
But are people, is it more so an online thing, or are people in your school like talking about
people
this?
in my school are talking about this, people like online are talking about this, people like on the streets are talking about this.
That's
like,
sick.
You go to like art shows, like, oh, but why isn't Kai's art here? Or, like, people are like, I'm like, oh, no, like, And I'm like 16, 15,
Yeah,
16.
kid.
I'm a little older and like, damn, like I'm so cool. Like no one knows it's me. Like
That's dope. That's hard to do too. That's gotta be a challenge not to tell people.
I just told people I worked for Kai. Like when people ask me like, oh, why do you have the newest Kai sticker? I'm like, oh, I'm his assistant. I work for him. And
Interesting.
I'm like, I'm his intern. And it was just like I didn't want people to blow me up about it and ask me too many questions.
Yeah.
And I didn't have money to give stuff away for free. So I didn't want people like, hey, can I get like a free sticker pack? Oh, hey, can I get?
Or like ratting you out or something.
Yeah,
like,
and I was so young. I didn't.
Yeah,
really,
didn't know that.
I didn't really care.
Right.
Even if I did, I'd be like, oh, that's so cool. I'm going to jail. Like,
Damn. So then it all starts picking up pace, but I guess when did you said like galleries started hitting you up?
Yeah, so a couple galleries started hitting me up.
What's the way? Okay, wait. First, if you looked at it like, damn, I didn't think this could potentially become a career.
Yeah.
How did you figure that out? Because to me, it's like obviously you have to make money to have a job. But when did you see? Was it someone wanted to buy a piece from you, or was it like the gallery wanted to buy in bulk, or I don't know how does that work? Where you're like, oh shit, that's a good chunk of change. I'm gonna like. If I do that 50 times, that's a salary.
So to me, it wasn't even that. Like I was slinging stickers in school.
Yeah.
Like I would make a bunch of stickers, say I was working for Kai, I was his assistant, and then I would take the stickers to school and I'd be like, yo, I got the latest Kai stuff. Oh no, let me see what you got. And like I'll give you $1 for the Morons sticker, and I'll give you $2 for the bankruptcy express. And I was just slinging. I was just trying to like pay back what I was spending. Like,
Right.
Like, oh, I spent $500 on stickers. Let's get the $500 back.
Yeah.
And I was always like that. Like, I'm still like that to this day.
Same.
Like, I'm always trying to get my money back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never trying to be in the hole. Just because if I'm in the hole and I'm doing something wrong, that means people don't like what I'm doing. That means I'm missing what I'm supposed to hit. Like, my target is I'm off target.
Right.
So, I'm selling these stickers. I'm trying to do my thing. And I'm like, the next big thing for me is a poster. Like, everyone's going to buy a poster. Like, everyone's going to buy it. If I put a poster on a website, people are going to buy a poster. If I put it on eBay, they're going to buy a poster. Like, everyone around me is talking about Kai. Like, galleries have emailed me and contacted me. Like, we want to work with Kai. Like, so I'm like, a poster's the next big thing.
Yeah.
So I make a poster. It's like, it's not the replica of Morons that I'm putting in the street. It's the Marlboro price sign at gas stations. So when you go to a gas station, there's like the Marlboro triangle, and it says price, and it says $4.95 plus sales tax, and then there's like a disclaimer, like this surgeon warning, blah 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 blah. So I take that and I twist it, and I make it the red thing, foolish choice, Morons, and then price your life, like UR.life LFE, and then a disclaimer like you know this is stupid, you know that you're dumb, why do you still do it? You're hurting the people around you, not even yourself. Like I don't know the exact words.
Right, something along those lines. And I print them by hand, and I buy super expensive paper, and like I'm like, this is gonna make me money. Like we're gonna go to the next level. Like I don't need a gallery yet. I don't need any. I can do this by myself. Right.
Spent like a lot of money on these posters. A lot.
How much does it cost to make posters like that? You think?
Like $5,000.
Oh shit. Fuck, that's a step up from stickers.
Yeah, like I think it cost me less at the time because I was like really like nickeling and diming.
Right.
And like really trying to cut. I cut corners. Like I did it. I still want to put out a good product, but.
Right, but still,
whatever. It cost me a bunch of money, and now these posters are done. And I put them on eBay, and I kind of like whatever people hit me up in emails, I literally like write an individual person an email like, I'm now selling posters, please support what I'm doing. And
before fucking MailChimp was a thing.
I still don't even know how to use MailChimp to this date.
Oh,
but like,
shit.
So I'm emailing everyone individually and trying to sell these posters.
Right.
And they don't move. Nothing
Right.
sells. Nothing sells. And I'm like, fuck. And then I look at the poster closer, and there's typos all in the little tiny disclaimer. There are typos everywhere, and I'm dyslexic, so I'm not even the one who caught them. My brother's looking at them. He's like, oh, this poster's so nice. Like, I don't get why it's not selling. It's like, oh my God, there's a typo here. There's a typo here. Typo here. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to fix this? So at the time, street art is so cool. The style of street art is so cool. People love splattered paint. So I'm an idiot too. I take a plastic piece of paper, like a transparent piece of paper. I put it over the print and I splat on the transparent piece of paper just to cover those errors. And then I cut those out. I make like a stencil of that. And then I spray paint every single poster with the exact same splatter marks so that every single one is identical. So it's an actual poster, like.
Right.
So that there's no like, oh, mine's splattered with blue. It's just, like every single poster was
It's
identical
exact.
with these splatter marks, and they still don't sell.
Oh no.
I'm like, fuck. What am I doing? Like, did I fuck up? Like, this is horrible. And then I keep getting these galleries. They're like, we still want to sell your work. Like, don't like.
Are the galleries local? They're in
There's
LA?
some local. There's some like. There's all over the U.S. Like.
But were you familiar with them? Was it like cool? Like, oh shit, this is dope. This one's like this is a good gallery.
I didn't really know much. I was young.
Yeah.
And I just knew like, from reading books and understanding the art culture, like you need to be in a gallery to sell a painting. Like, this is the way you need to be represented. Like.
Right.
So like the posters aren't selling. I'm like, if I don't make money, how am I going to pay back this print? How am I
Keep
going
working.
and keep going? Like,
Yeah.
the bank account's empty. Like, what are we doing? So I answered one of the galleries, and the gallery was like, this is going to be the largest street art gallery in the world. You need to be, like, that's their email. Like, we're about to open, grand opening, the biggest street art gallery in the world. Kai, we need you in this gallery.
How bad?
I was like, okay. And now, I'm a kid, and I don't want to take the meeting to meet with the owner.
Why?
Because in my head, being a kid, I'm going to be taken advantage of.
Okay, genius. You're smart as fuck for being a kid.
I'm like 16. I'm like, I'm not going to be taken advantage of in this meeting. Fuck this. I knew that it was going to be an issue off bat.
Right.
So I call my dad and my mom, and I'm like, you guys are going to go in there as Kai's manager. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I had this meeting with this gallery. I'm really scared. I don't want to be taken advantage of. You go in there, you get the contract, and you negotiate for me. And my dad and my mom are like, okay, like, sure. Like, I email the guy back, oh, I'll be sending my management. Like, the guy doesn't know what I look like because it's an email.
Right.
I'll be sending my management, like, be ready, we'll be there at 3:30, like, what's the address, blah, 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 blah. I call my parents, like, you guys need to be there at this time. Your guys' managers, these are your names. I gave them fake names, like.
Wow. This is sick.
I'm like a weird, like, I'm also, like, a little paranoid, so, like, this is why this all comes out. And my parents go to the meeting, and I get a call. I'm in school. My dad on the phone, he's like, we have the contract. Like, should we sign it? Like, it looks good. I'm like, don't sign anything. Bring me the contract. Tell him, like, you can't sign for me. Like, I never gave you that right. Like, okay, like, sure. And they bring me back the contract, and I'm reading it, and there's, like, an exclusivity clause in it. Like, you will be exclusive to Lab Art. The gallery was called Lab Art.
Okay.
And it says, you will be exclusive to Lab Art, the largest street art gallery in the world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not signing this paper. There is no way in hell I'm going to be exclusive to anyone. No one.
Beyond that show.
Beyond anything.
Wow. Well, I'm just saying, like, they were locking you in for, like,
for a year.
Oh, for a year. Fuck.
I'm not signing this. I'm never going to be exclusive to anyone. Like, I don't think anyone deserves to own me because I signed a piece of paper.
Right, right.
So I tell my dad, he's like, no, you're so dumb. The only way you're ever going to make money with art is with a gallery. This is the way galleries work. You need to sign this paper. No, I'm not. I get in a fight with my dad. I email the gallery, thank you so much for the consideration. I will be passing due to the exclusivity clause. Thank you so much. Stay up, Kai. I get an email response back. You don't need to sign the contract. Send me X amount of paintings on consignment, and we'll have an email trail making sure that that if there's ever any issues, the emails will be our legal standing. I'm a kid now. I'm like, does this actually work? I don't know. Does emails actually mean anything? I don't know, but I don't care because I'm not exclusive.
Right.
I'm not tied in.
Yeah.
So I email the guy back, okay, we'll have 13 pieces ready for you at the end of the week. 13 pieces. Like, that's a lot. I didn't know that was a lot at the time. Well, that's a lot of work.
How big? Like full size?
Like full size, like 48 by 60, like big-ass pieces.
You couldn't use anything you had?
I had a couple of things. That's why I offered so much. But at the same time, I didn't think any of them would. In my head, nothing was going to sell. So I get everything ready, and we go to deliver it. And we get there, and I'm looking around in the gallery. I'm like, yo, my shit's way better than most of this.
Oh, for real?
Not trying to be cocky or anything, but
yeah.
I know my value. I'm like, yo, my shit's framed. My shit is done with oil paint. My shit, like...
Top of the line.
I really studied art. My dad made sure I knew what I was doing. Like, my parents never let me half-ass anything. If that's sports or school or anything. Like, I wanted to be a pitcher at one point. Like, my mom got me a piece of wood, taped a square on the wood. We went to the 99-cent store. She gave me $20. I bought 20 baseballs, And
hit
she
that motherfucker.
over.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's how my parents raised me.
Right.
Like, you're gonna give everything 1,000%, or don't put your name on it, because then you're embarrassing us. So we get in there, like, all my pieces are framed, all my pieces are done with oil, all my pieces are done like top of the line. The guy looks at everything. He goes, "This is the Kai delivery?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm his assistant. He told me to drop it off." He's like, "Wow, this is really nice." Like, I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm gonna give Kai his own room in the gallery."
Oh shit.
And he gives Kai his own room.
But wait, hold on. Before this, when you talk about, like, there's a contract for this shit and whatnot, are they paying you to be there and then you make more money when you sell shit, or is it just like off the hope of like if someone comes through and buys?
Just
some
off the hope of someone.
Okay, word. So then what exclusivity do they need? They just want to make sure they have Kai locked in for a year. In
They
their
make
own
sure,
studio?
and that if Kai blows up, that
they're
the ones
over
representing Kai. Like, I can't go and like shop around and try and get a representation.
Okay, got it. So
I drop everything off. I go out of pocket on everything again. Like, now I'm really deep in the hole. Like, and they gave me my own room, and we put everything up in the own room. The show opens and everyone's going crazy over my stuff. But now, because my stuff was a little bit better quality and a little bit nicer and has frames and done to a different level, it's also on a different price point level.
Are you putting the price point up?
So my dad, my manager,
right,
and the gallery owner, like, talked about it, and they put prices on everything. And you walk around, everything in the gallery is like $500, $700, $800, $900. My minimum starting price, $3,000.
Hell yeah, get that chicken.
I was like, what do you? And in my head, I'm like, I'm so embarrassed by it too. Like, what the fuck? Why is it $3,000? It should be $300. Like, I should be like everyone else. Like, I'm really embarrassed. I'm to this day, I'm embarrassed by the way things get priced. Like,
I mean, it's weird. It's such a weird thing.
It's a weird thing for, like, as an artist, like, oh, they need to put numbers on things. Like, but it's like really expensive to me.
When we would play shows, like back in the day, I used to play music, right? And we would book shows and like try to get our friends to come, and then the tickets would be like $15, and to me it was like, or $20, whatever it was. I'm like, yo, just come through, I got you. Like, I'll cover this, or buy my shirt. And they'll be like, yeah, I want to buy your shirt. And I'll be like, I was gonna give it to you. Like, I just lost $4. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I feel weird, like taking money from people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I felt even more weird being the youngest person in this world, charging more money than people that have been in this world for 5-6 years. And they gave me my own room. The show opening night, like, largest street art gallery in the world, opens, and everyone sells a piece. Every artist, there's like 30 artists. Every artist sells something.
Fuck.
And I don't.
What?
I don't sell anything.
Oh shit! I thought this was gonna be some crazy like
bing,
bing, bing,
yeah,
bing.
And
damn.
I don't sell anything. And I get an email from the owner, like, it's been opening night. Sorry, Kai, you didn't sell anything.
Fuck.
I'm like, okay. He goes, but I have a couple good leads. I'll keep you posted. A week later, sorry, Kai, still haven't sold anything. 2 weeks in, Kai, it's been 2 weeks. I really do think your pieces are overpriced a bit. If nothing sells with it by the end of the month, I'll have to take you off the roster, because the wall space is valuable, and that's what makes me my money.
Right.
And now I'm like, fuck, I fucked up my first chance ever of being an artist. Like, I'll never be an artist now. I never sold a piece. It's over. Oh, my God. I'm, like, so upset. And the weekend kicks in. Like, he emails me that on a Friday. Weekend kicks in. I'm Jewish, so I turn off my phone, my computer, everything. Like, there's no way of reaching me. And Saturday night, Shabbat ends. Sabbath ends. I turn on my computer, check my email. Congratulations, Kai, we sold 2 pieces. And now, and he emails me like, congratulations, we sold 2 pieces. You are officially the leading sales artist of the roster. Mind you, some artists might have sold 10 pieces, but my pieces are so expensive, it puts me on top of the board. And I go, which pieces did we sell? He goes, the first piece you sold was a Lost Values, which is a Louis Vuitton monogram, brown and gold, with the word, instead of Louis Vuitton, it says Lost Values.
Right.
And the other one was a skull I had made out of cigarette packs on a black oil painting background with a big ornate frame on it, totaling to like $10,000.
The 2 pieces.
So combined, yeah.
Right. But how much did it cost to make them, you think?
I don't know. I just was doing it out of love. Oh, no, not 10. They equaled like $7,000. Those 2 pieces were like $7,000.
Fuck.
And I don't know how much they cost to make. I just know, like, I loved what I was doing, and I didn't care how much money I was spending. And I didn't really know what bottom line was. I was still a kid. Like, I just knew, like,
But are you still cutting corners to like make these, or were you buying like nicer paints?
I was buying nicer like I was
trying to invest.
I was trying to like show off like I'm good at what I do, even though I'm young. Even though no one really knows how old I am.
Yeah.
I still have that chip on my shoulder. Like, I'm the youngest. Like, I got to put out the best quality work. I had to be, and I spent like good money on this.
Yeah, right. For risk.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge risk.
Huge risk, and I know that one cost me a lot less to make than the other, but I didn't know how much money realistically. I wasn't like sitting there with like an Excel sheet.
This
like,
one was 400. Yeah.
I just like did my thing. They were priced by my dad and by the gallery, and they sold, and I got a check. And I'm like, I look at this check now, and it's like, wow, this is the most money I've ever seen in my life.
I'm gonna buy a Rolex.
I'm 16 years old. I'm like, damn, this is the most money I've ever seen in my life. I get a call a week later. You sold another one.
Oh shit.
Oh my god, this is even more money than I've ever. Like, now I finally have a bank account.
Yeah.
Like
a legitimate.
16, 17 years old with a legit bank account. Like, yo, you're making money. Like, and then I'm like, I sold a couple other ones. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy myself a watch. I buy myself a watch. And now in my head, I'm thinking, paintings sell themselves. Like, if I keep making them, I'll keep making money.
Mm-hmm.
So I get in this obsessive thing of like, I don't need to be in the street anymore. I'm making money in the gallery. Let's just make gallery art. Like, we're going to kill it in the gallery. I'm also graduating high school at the same time.
Right.
So I'm graduating high school. I'm doing all these college apps. Like, I'm going to go to college. I'm still going to play. In my head, I'm still going to play soccer. I'm just making some side money. Like, if I keep making paintings, I'll keep making money. If I finish these apps, I'll become a professional soccer player, and I'll be good for life. That's my mentality. Like,
straight up.
Like, here.
Lay up, dude. Easy journey.
Literally, like, oh, this is over. Like, and I'm playing soccer, and I tear my ACL meniscus on the field.
Motherfucker.
And like, I was decent, like 2.3 goal average a game. Like, I'm scoring way more than anyone's scoring. Like, I'm bigger than everyone. I'm faster than everyone in my league. Like, I'm really killing it. And I tear my ACL.
Fuck.
And my meniscus, and I go into surgery. And now I'm on bed rest for 3 months. Like, usually they're on bed rest for 3 weeks. They had to leave me in the bed for a month for everything to like the swelling to go down, so they could actually operate.
Jesus Christ.
So like, I'm really on bed rest. And while I'm on bed rest, my dad's like, "You've been applying to all these soccer schools. Why don't you apply to a couple art schools?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna play soccer. This is just a road bump. I'm gonna play soccer. I'm gonna play soccer. I'm gonna play soccer." And I'm on so many pain medications and so much stuff, like. And my dad keeps like coming in every day, like, "You should apply to art school." And at one point he's like, "You're doing nothing in bed. You're doing absolutely nothing in this bed. Do something productive. Apply to other schools, just as a backup." And my mom comes in, and I don't respect anyone more on this planet than my mom. And my mom says, "Your father's right. Have a backup plan."
God damn it.
I'm like kind of upset. My mom like, "All right, Mom, I'm gonna apply to these schools." And I applied to 10 art schools. Some of them like aren't necessarily art schools, but they're like, they have a good art program, like NYU and like all these other schools.
Right.
And I apply, and I send in my portfolio, and some of the things in my portfolio are things I've sold, and and I write like my little thesis, my artist statement, they call it. And I send all these things, and I don't really care. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to art school. I'm going to play soccer. I'm going to go play soccer. I'm going to go play soccer. And then my knee's not healing.
Like, be after surgery, all this shit.
I'm done with surgery. I'm still on bed rest. I'm like, how am I still on bed rest? Like, it's not healing. The season's ending. The high school soccer season's ending. It's a winter sport. Winter's coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
We're now like towards February, April, like February, April.
Nah.
February, March, April. Like, we're in that. Like,
soccer's a winter sport out here?
Yeah.
We always played like spring.
No, it's a winter sport.
That's weird.
Girls play spring out here.
They play. Well, I mean, it's actually
So,
winter in Iowa, so like we had like 4 feet of snow.
You can play. So we play in the rain or whatever.
That's tight.
So I now applied to these schools, and I'm not healing. And my dad's like, "You see, art's a viable option." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna play soccer. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna play soccer. That's my life." And you have to understand, I was obsessed.
Obsessed.
Like, sleeping with my soccer ball, like, like obsessed. Like, I had like my cleats. Like, I used to like clean my cleats with a toothbrush after every game.
God
I had my
damn.
shin guards. I had like my own routine on how to put on my shin guards.
Right.
That like people have like the shin guards that you put in your sock. And, like, I'm like, no, I had like special little like clip-ons that I had made with my mom.
Damn,
to clip
that's
on my
crazy.
shin guard. Like, because I played a very specific position. I played like an all-around striker, and like the shin guards always got in my way. So I one day took a pair of shin guards. I was like obsessed.
Right.
like obsessed, like
And stripped of that motherfucker.
stripped. And my biggest asset on the field was I could shoot the ball. Once I passed half court, that was a viable option. Like, shoot the ball, like you're gonna make the shot. My coach would be like, shoot. Like there's a chance that's gonna go in.
Right.
Like that's how big and beefy my right leg was.
Right.
My right leg, I could literally hit the ball and it would drop into the goal. And now I don't have that. Like, I'm still healing, and when I'm done healing, I don't have the same right leg anymore. I can't shoot from half court. I can't even shoot a penalty kick. My leg hurts me so much, I can't shoot it. Like, there is no more strength in my right leg, and I'm trying with my left leg, and I can't even put the weight on my right leg to take the shot with my left.
Damn.
And I'm like, oh, it's okay, Mom, I'm going to get better. And the doctor says, go run on the beach. Like, and my mom would drive me to the beach, and I would run on the beach. Like, running on the beach will make you strong, or crawling, and like all these other things. Like, make sure you stretch every night, and make sure you swim in the swimming pool. And I'm trying everything to get back on the field. And I start getting acceptance letters to art schools. And the first school, you've been accepted early admission if you want. I get accepted like, or before, like you get your acceptance letters in May. I'm starting to get mine in March.
Damn.
Like, you've been accepted to Pratt. You've been accepted to CalArts. You've been accepted to Risted. You've been accepted to, like, all the dopest art schools in the country. Like, I was 9 for 10 in applying to art schools.
And you're like, fuck this. Like, I'm going to figure this out.
And
Does it start piquing your interest when you get these letters? Or are you still like...
I'm like, damn, I must be good at this. Like, in my head, I'm like, I must be good. Oh, I'm good at, like, if I'm getting into 9 out of 10 schools.
Right.
I'm pretty good at what I'm doing. Like, people are respecting my work, and I'm still selling stuff. So it's like, there's an all-around respect to what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And I'm still hurt, so I'm like, okay, maybe I go to art school for a little bit, and then once I'm fully healed, I play for that school on the soccer field and all, whatever.
Yeah,
so now I'm telling myself, I got into to 9 out of 10 schools with art programs. I'm only gonna like really look at the schools that have a legit soccer program.
That's funny.
So, like, Maryland was one of the schools I got into for the art program, and they have the best soccer program in the whole country. Like, out of their starting lineup that plays on Maryland, 10 out of 11 get picked up in the draft.
Damn.
So I'm like, I'm going to go to Maryland. And then I'm thinking, maybe if I go to, like, Pratt, and then I can transfer out to, like, another school. And I'm like, I'm going to go play on the East Coast, because everyone my whole life told me the soccer is a little bit more competitive on the East Coast. And I'm like, I'm gonna be the best on the East Coast. And I tell my dad, like, hey, I'm gonna go. Can I borrow some money? I want to fly to New York to check out Pratt before I accept anywhere. And he's like, okay. Like, we'll talk about this in the morning. I'm like, great. I wake up the next morning. I'm like, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, I really want to go check out Pratt. Maybe one of you comes with me across the country and we check out this school, and then I can make my decision. And understand, I'm the first person in my family, extended family, mom's side, dad's side, to ever be accepted into college.
Damn.
So, like, everyone's stoked on, like, the fact that I'm even, like, going to college. Like, yo, he's the first one. Like, everyone's excited. Like, everyone's calling my parents, like, we'll lend you guys money if you need help to pay for it. Like, everyone's just stoked that I'm going to college. Like,
damn.
And I'm like, I think I want to go to Pratt. And my dad's like, okay. And so I wake up the next morning. I'm like, hey, Mom, Dad, I think one of you should fly with me to check out Pratt. And my mom's, like, super proud. Like, you're going to college. Like, you'll go wherever you want to go. We're just happy you finally are going to graduate and go to college.
That's dope.
And my dad's like, that next morning goes, no, you don't need to anymore. I'm like, what do you mean I don't need to go? I'm like, I want to go check out Pratt. He goes, you got into CalArts. I was like, and? He goes, that's...
And
he goes, that's the best art school in the country. And it's literally like an hour and 45 minutes away from where we live. I'm like, what's your point? He goes, I've already put the down payment on your tuition. You have to figure out the rest, but you're going to school there.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Your decision has been made for you.
Like, he's not letting you fuck this up.
He already, like, put down payment. Like, he's not letting me, like, nothing. And I start getting, lose it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not an angry person, but I lose it. Like, I've worked so hard for 12 years. I'm injured. Like, I can't even make my own decisions anymore. How is this possible? I'm the eldest of the whole family. Like, let me lead my way. Like, let me do things my way. It's my own path. Like, my dad's like, I don't care what you have to say. You're going to CalArts. If you want to transfer out. But you're going to CalArts. Like, the down payment of your tuition is paid for. Figure out the rest. Get a student loan. Whatever you need. Like, that's where you're going to start your college, like, education. I was like, okay. I'm like upset, whatever. I go see CalArts. I've never seen CalArts. I didn't give a fuck about CalArts. I just applied there because when I looked up best art schools in the country, number 1 was CalArts.
Right.
Number 2 was like Risted. And so I go check it out. It's like an hour and 45 minutes away from where I live, and I drive up there, and it's cool. It's whatever. And I walk around, and like, it's like super, super artistic, but not like my kind of artistic. Like, they put a chair on a pedestal and they break one of the legs and like art. And I'm like, damn, no, I don't fit in here. Right off the bat, I'm like, I don't fit in. And my mom's like, you're going to go to school there. Like, just be positive. You're the first person to ever go to college. You can transfer. Like, my mom kind of being like positive. Like, don't worry. Like, you'll figure it out. It's like, you've always figured it out up until now. Like, look, you're making money with your paintings. Like, you're going to figure it out. I'm like, okay, whatever, Mom. Like, whatever you say, I believe. Like, whatever. She's like, and anyways, this way, like, if you're ever homesick or if you ever need anything, like, you can just drive home. Like, you're close to home. Like, don't worry. Okay. Like, she kind of, like...
Made it make sense.
Make sense over a couple months. Like, she's not right away. Like, she had a couple months to, like, ease me into it. And I go to CalArts my first semester, and I stick out like a sore thumb. Like, I'm making, like, street art with, like, super, like, blunt, powerful messages in your face. And, like, people are, like...
Yeah.
And people are like, dude, that's so aggressive. Like, let me find my own meaning in your work. I'm like, no, bro. Like, if no one gets it, like, how are you supposed to get it? Like, if you showed this in my high school, no one would understand, like, you writing the words "I love you" on a piece of paper 10,000 times. Like, what does that mean?
Right.
And like, we live in a generation that everything's so quick. Like, you have to do things quicker. And like, Facebook was really big when I was in college. Like, you go on Facebook, you see 10,000 pictures at a time.
Huh.
Now it's even quicker. Now you have Instagram. Like,
right.
It's every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, your art doesn't make sense for us. Like, yeah, but our art is what like, this is how museums look at work, and like, this is contemporary work. And I'm like, contemporary work doesn't work for our gender. I'm like having arguments with my teachers, and like, and to the point where like, people are like, damn, like, this kid doesn't stop. Like, he just doesn't stop.
Nope.
No, I'm like, I don't fuck with the idea of like some of my classes, we didn't even make art. We just spoke about what we were gonna make. And like, the teacher was like, that's art in itself. I'm like, you mean I don't make anything and you're gonna call this art? I'm like, how am I supposed to pay my bills? Like, I'm not understanding. I'm like,
theory and all these things.
Yeah, like, I'm not understanding the theory of it and everything. And then one day, my teacher Martin, who was also my mentor. So when you get into art school, they assign you a mentor. Kind of.
Cool.
So like, you guys kind of have that in regular college. They assign you someone that kind of overlooks like the credits you're doing. I don't know. And
I never had that shit in regular college. I had a fucking guidance counselor. Take an extra semester.
Guidance counselor. They call it guidance counselor. Okay, but we call it a mentor.
Right.
Because they like make sure you get your units done, but they also make sure like your work kind of follows a path. Because at the end of every year, you have to put up a little show.
Oh, word. Okay. So
they want to make sure like, oh, are your paintings being done? Like, what or your sculptures or whatever, your performance isn't ready. And one day, Martin is my mentor, and he pulls me aside and he goes, you have to stop being so rebellious. He goes, everything we talk about, you've already done it. He goes, your work has meaning. Like, the minute you finish working, it already has meaning. We're just trying to help the kids in your class understand there needs to be meaning in the work. It's not just making work to make work. That's why we have theory classes when you're a freshman, because a lot of times you come into freshman year and you're just making art that's pretty or you think has a meaning, but it doesn't really have the meaning you want it to have it. So we're trying to like train you, like, this is not what the viewer is getting. The viewer is getting this message from the work you're making. And if you're trying to say A with your work and the viewer is getting B, you need to realign the work you're making so that the viewer and the person making the work have the same understanding of the work. And he's like, we don't have that issue with your work because it's so blunt and it's so in your face. You've already accomplished what a freshman needs to accomplish. So he goes, try and accomplish what the other years need to accomplish and being a little more subtle. You don't need to be so in my face. Let me enjoy the mystery of figuring it out. And I was like, damn.
Okay.
Why couldn't you guys just tell me that on day one?
Yeah,
I've been fighting with every teacher I have. And the whole freshman year, you don't learn how to paint. You don't learn how to sculpt. You don't learn how to do anything with your hands. And here I'm frustrated. Like, I have all these ideas in my head, and I don't know how to make them with my hands. I was never classically trained on how to paint. I was never classically trained on how to sculpt. I don't know any techniques on how to edit video. I don't know any of this stuff, and I'm frustrated. I have all these ideas, and I can't make them come to fruition. And I'm like, I tell Martin, I'm like, why can't I just learn how to make the things I have in my head? Just teach me how to make the things I have in my head. He goes, I'm going to sign this paper for you, and it's going to let you take sophomore, junior, and senior classes, but they won't let you in them unless I approve it. I was like, great. I'm like, the first thing I want to learn how to do is edit video. Why? Because I have like this obsession with cartoons and like short snippets of film. Right. That to me is exciting. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can tell you a lot more in a video with a voiceover than I can by using a single frame. Right. Like a painting is a single frame of a film in my head, or of a story. It's like the climax of that story. Right. So I'm like, instead of just giving you the climax, let me give you the whole story. So in my head, I was like, I want to learn how to edit film. And I was still doing street art, and I kind of wanted to edit the things I was doing in the street. Like I was filming myself, and I wanted to edit. Okay, word. So I was like trying to hit two birds with everything I do in my life is always trying to hit two birds with one stone. Hell yeah. Which is not the greatest way to do things because you don't really commit to it. You don't really learn it for the correct purposes, but you kind of learn it as you go along. But I was like trying to hit two birds with one stone. I'm like, and I also want to take oil painting. I'm like, he tells me, like, we don't have an oil painting class. We have the theory of oil painting with this guy named John Mandel. And John Mandel is a very famous oil painter. Oh, word. That quit oil painting to write novels. Damn. And I'm like, why did he quit oil painting to write novels? He's like, his whole art career, he was trying to express something that he thought his paintings could express. And one day he woke up and he realized his paintings were not capturing the viewers the way he wanted to capture the viewers. But he realized that if he wrote a book, it would capture the viewer. So he just sits there and he writes his book while he kind of tells you, like, you're doing oil painting wrong. Like, use more of this, use more linseed oil, use more of that. Like, he doesn't teach you how to do it. He just kind of, like, directs you. Huh. He's like, you can take that class. But he's like, a lot of people get disappointed by the results because he's not sitting there, like, teaching you how to shade things. He's just teaching you how to use, like, the paintbrush and the oil paint and, like, all the thing, like the liquid and all the stuff that goes around it and how to clean the brush. And he's like, then you figure that shit out and I'll judge you at the end of the quarter. I'm like, okay. And then I took shop and I took sewing, like how to sew, like because there's costume design in my school. I was like, I want to make a couple cool things, and the year goes pretty well. And then at the end of the year, you have like your freshman show. And I show my freshman show, and it kind of looks the same as like the work I show in galleries. Because I was like, if I'm going to be working in school, I can make the work in school, and then I can sell it in the gallery, and I can make some money. And at the same time, I have a night job. I'm doing graphic design for like a printing house. Right. So I'm driving everywhere, like working at night, doing these paintings, doing street art, working in school, doing a bunch of stuff, just trying to stay afloat. And I show at the end of the year, I show my freshman project, and the teachers are like, what the fuck is this? Like everything has like an ornate like classic frame and gold and gaudy, and like there's a Morons painting and there's an old school painting, and like I was doing like hits, like things that were selling in the galleries. I was making them at school. Oh, right. Because they were selling, and I was like, if I do this in school, I save like so much more time than if I do it at home. And I was doing like some new stuff, like the cake. It was like something I did specifically for that show. And this right here? Yeah. This exact one? And that's the one I made for my freshman show. That's crazy. And the teachers hate me, and they like give me like just enough to pass. And I'm like kind of upset. Like, how could you guys not understand my work? Like, Morons is a great work. People love it in the gallery and in the streets. And Lost Values, people love Lost Values. Like, that's my bestseller. Yeah. And like, I don't understand. Like, how is the art world and the commercial art world so like divided? And I'm not understanding it. I'm kind of upset. And all my classmates come up to me like, yo, you killed it. Like, your show was better than all of ours. Like, you even killed some seniors. Like, your show was more powerful than the senior show. And damn. I'm like, damn, I don't get why the teachers hate it and everyone else kind of likes it. Like, I don't get it. And I'm just like, whatever, fuck school, kind of in my head. I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'll keep doing street art. I don't need school to become a popular artist. Whatever. And I'm at my dad's house one night for dinner with my mom and my family. And my dad's an art head. Now my brother's getting really into art. I'm like an art buff now. I went to art school and like I'm obsessed with it, kind of. I get very obsessive. And my mom knows a lot about art. She's a photographer. She like for fun, and she used to make like postcards. And
Dope.
my sisters are kind of into it. And we're having a discussion about art, and we're like having a argument like who was more important to history, Van Gogh or Monet. And we're having this huge argument, me and my dad.
During dinner and shit.
Yeah, during dinner, and I tell my dad like, stop talking. I literally tell my dad like the most disrespectful thing. I'm like, you have to stop talking. You don't know what you're talking about. He's like, what did you say? I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. I go to art school. I learned this. I'm like, I go to the best art school in the country because of you.
Right.
So why are you trying to correct me on the best arts when I go to the best art
Yeah.
school in the whole world? I'm like, in the whole world.
Huh.
My dad starts cracking up at the table, laughing, literally laughing in my face. What do you mean you go to the best art school in the world? I was like, you made me go to this best art school in the world. Like, what are you telling me I'm not going to the best art school? He goes, no. You go to the best U.S. art school in the world. American art school. He goes, you want to go to the best art school? You got to go to Paris, where art lives, breathes. Like, everything is about art. And he goes, and you won't even get accepted if you apply.
Damn.
And
Damn.
I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, who do you know who you're talking to? I'm like the cockiest kid now. Like, I'm selling paintings, and I'm in school, and I'm getting good grades. Like, I'm still passing these classes. I'm the first person ever to go to college, and I have this huge
dope.
ego. Like,
Right.
but I just have this huge ego. And he goes, really? You think you can get in? I'm like, yeah, I can get in. He goes, put money where your mouth is. I'm like, $1,000. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'll bet you $1,000 to get into this art school. He goes, bet.
Which art school is it?
Les Beaux-Arts de Paris.
And that's like the main.
That's like the
biggest shit. Damn.
It's École Supérieure Nationale des Beaux-Arts de Paris. It's like this huge name. Like, it's like the art school of Paris.
I feel like that was a spoiler alert because you say the name so goddamn well that you had to have gone
Yeah.
to that shit because I couldn't repeat that right now. Like, even if you spelled it out, I'd be like, fuck.
A lot of people abbreviate it ENSPA.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
ENSBA.
So you're
ENSPA.
applying for this school.
So I'm applying for this school.
Okay.
And we bet $1,000, and I get in.
Ooh!
But usually you apply, you get in for a quarter. I applied for the whole year. I get in for the full year, and I'm one of 3 Americans selected to go to this school.
Oh, time out. Art school at CalArts.
Yeah.
Was it just 1 year?
It's
Or
a
was
4-year program.
Did you
but-
do all 4 years?
No, I did 1 year.
Just 1 year and then said
then,
fuck it.
Then me and my dad made this bet about getting
Oh,
into
okay.
this
So
school
this
in
is
France.
like for the second year. This
For
is
my
where-
second year,
oh,
I'm going to
shit, okay.
ENSPA. Like,
Fuck.
and I get in. I'm one of 3 Americans selected, and
Yo.
they allowed me to go for a full calendar year. Like,
Did all 3 Americans
no,
get to do the full year?
every American, the other 2 Americans only got 1 quarter. Damn. So I'm like, yo, I'm popping. Like, I'm going to art school. Like, fuck you, Dad. I'm like super excited, and like
Yeah,
for real,
so
like,
dope.
And then I realized, like, yo, this is expensive.
Yeah.
This is gonna be super expensive. So I tell my dad and my mom, like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. And like, now I've been selling paintings. Like, things are kind of working for me, and I put like some money aside. But this is not like a full year's worth of money.
No.
This is like
A
2
guap.
months rent.
Right.
Money. Like,
Right.
not a lot of money. And my dad's like, I don't care. He's like, ticket on me, fight on me. He goes, you'll figure it out when you get there. You always land on your feet. And in my head, I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do this.
Yep.
And I live in LA. Like, God bless LA. The situation you have when you come to LA, even if it's expensive,
Yeah.
it's a proper situation.
How so? What do you mean by
Like,
that?
when you rent an apartment and it's a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, it's a proper 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. Like, you have space. Like,
Oh,
you have
okay.
a backyard, you have a kitchen, you have a living room, dining. Like, you have space.
Oh, fuck do you live at, dog? Oh, fuck. My first spot was all in one.
Okay. But in LA, but it's still pretty big in LA.
No, yeah, okay. I'm comparing it to Iowa because
Okay.
I think it's that
Hey,
to Iowa.
times a million.
Oh, my God.
I was even bigger.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But, like, living out here,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
like, you have proper space. I get out to Paris.
It's like New York, right?
Worse.
Worse?
I live in it's called a maid's room.
What
It's
the hell?
literally rooms that were built for the house help. And it's so small. To give you guys an idea, like, when I would lay down in bed, I could
No.
open the fridge, take something out the fridge, like, use whatever I took out the fridge, reach the stove, and, like, be able to stir or cook whatever I'm cooking
Fuck.
from laying down in my bed. Like, I didn't ever have to get out of my bed. There's no heater in my room because I'm so broke.
Damn.
And the water's always cold. And I'm in France and it's snowing. Like, and I have no money. And it's literally like, you know, the cliche, like, artists have to decide over materials and food.
Yeah.
Literally in that situation.
Fuck.
Literally, like, do I buy a bag of tomatoes or do I eat plain rice again tonight?
Right.
And drink tap water? Like,
Damn.
horrible. Like, I was eating, like, €1 pasta.
Yeah.
With butter and salt every single day for, like, 5 months. I was, like, so skinny. Like, it was like, bones.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm a pretty big dude. Like, bones.
Fuck.
And I'm going to the school. And I realize, like, yo, it's freezing in my apartment. I'm miserable when I'm there because it's so small. I'm the loneliest kid in the world. I was so lonely. I was, like, depressed all the time. The only joy I had was painting class, getting my ass beat in drawing class. Because the difference between CalArts and NSPA is CalArts is a brain school. It develops your brain
Okay.
to make proper art. And NSPA is the opposite. It's all technique based. Like, how well do you draw? How well do you paint? How well do you sculpt? How well do you blah, blah, blah. So I get to NSPA. I didn't get any training, classical training, like we call classical training, like painting, drawing.
Yeah.
I have none. And I get into a school where every kid there is, like, God gifted. Like,
Fuck.
homies are drawing. Like, you sit there for 10 seconds, like, pop, 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 pop. Here, take it home. Like, thank you for posing for me. Like, I didn't pose. I was eating a sandwich.
Fuck.
And I'm, like, taking, like, an hour, and I'm drunk. I'm pushing my pencil on the paper, and I'm struggling. But I'm loving the fact that I'm the worst.
Yeah.
And my teachers are like, how did this kid get into this school? Like, my drawing teacher at one point told me, why do you come back every Thursday knowing that you're the worst and you're going to be humiliated? Like, the way drawing class works in Europe, or in NSPA at least, compared to in the U.S., like, there's a model. Everyone has their sketch pad. You sketch in your sketch pad. No one really sees what you sketch. And every 10 minutes, the model moves and you change, like, switch pages and you sketch again. In NSPA, the way we sketched is there's an auditorium, like a stadium, like a mini stadium, where viewers come and sit. There's 3 models that sit in the center of the room. And then there's ginormous chalkboards where the students go and they draw on the chalkboards live for all the viewers that came to watch, to enjoy and watch you draw them.
Oh, fuck.
So you're literally, like, entertainment for an audience.
Yo, what the fuck?
And I'm the most embarrassed kid ever. And my teacher keeps shoving me in the corner because he doesn't want the viewers to know that I go to this school. Like, he's embarrassed of my drawing skills.
That is so fucking sad. Yo, that's sad as fuck. Wow.
And it's the most embarrassing and humiliating thing when, like, you're in this class and, like, these kids are killing it and I can barely draw shit. Like, I'm, like, struggling, like, and you're drawing with chalk on a chalkboard and, like, you have no way of measuring anything. Like, he comes up to your drawing and is like, your femur's 2 centimeters too big compared to the thigh of the lady that's posing. Like, how are you supposed to know? He's like, look, and he holds, like, the chalk and he, like, does this and you're like, bro, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, you're holding chalk like this, and he's like, I'm measuring. Look how I'm measuring. Like, and you're like, I don't get it. And you see all these other kids killing it around you, and you're like, fuck. He's like, why do you come back? Why do you come back and humiliate yourself every Thursday? He's like, you've been taking this class for 3 months and you're not any better than you were on day 1. And I'm like, wait 1 second. And I take out my iPhone. I'm like, here's a drawing I made on day 1. And I show him. And they're all timed. Every 10 minutes, the models move. I'm like, this is how far I got in 10 minutes on day 1. And you can literally see it's only, like, the body, like, barely any body, the neck and the head. I'm like, we're 3 months in. I'm like, and you got, like, almost a full person here. Like, you got the head, the body, the arms, the legs. Like, even though everything's not perfect, I'm, like, getting more and more on the page, like, more and more on the board.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you actually are making, like, a little bit of strides. He's like, but you're still, like, your lines are too strong. Like, you have no subtlety. Like, you're just blunt. He's like, you draw so flat. Like, there's no shading. There's no nothing. Like, I'm like, I'm going to learn. Like, give me time. I'm going to learn. And I keep going back to this class. I'm taking oil painting. And now everyone's painting like flesh. Flesh is the hardest thing to paint, and like killing it in fleshes, and like hands are super hard to paint. They're painting hands and eyes, and I'm like painting cigarette packs and super flat objects because
Yeah.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
Oh, damn.
And the teacher's like, "Why do you paint such stupid things? Like, learn how, if you can master flesh, everything else is easy. Like, it's like everything is like rolling
Yeah,
downhill
yeah,
after. I'm like, I don't know how to do it, and I want my work to mean something, and I don't know how to make like flesh mean anything. I don't know how painting a girl makes it mean, like there's no meaning behind it." And she starts to like look at my work, and she says, "Oh, there's meaning in this." I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'm gonna let you do you, but you're gonna have to pick painters that came before you, and you're gonna have to copy their style in whatever you paint." So if you paint a cigarette pack and you say, "I'm gonna paint a cigarette pack," you have to name me an artist to mimic their style. So like a cigarette pack
In that style.
in the style of Van Gogh. So
Right.
like quick little brush strokes, and like really textured and meaty, or like can of Coke in Monet style. That's all palette knife work. And
Right.
she's like, "You're gonna master the techniques of other people," and she's like, "I hope with that you'll be able to understand all the other techniques of art." Like,
Interesting.
and she lets me kind of do my own thing. So I'm taking like this dope drawing class where I'm getting embarrassed and humiliated every Thursday. I'm taking painting every single day where I'm getting embarrassed and humiliated every single day. I'm going home to an apartment that's cold with no food, and I tell myself I'm sick of it. I'm gonna take more classes because there's a heater in all these classes, and I'm gonna eat out of the vending machine because it costs me the same. It costs me €1 to eat out of the vending machine, and I'll eat like a pack of cookies and a coffee. And I'm just gonna stay in school longer. Like, I don't need to go home at 5:00. I can go home at 10:00.
Right.
Because there's night classes.
Yeah.
So I start adding classes to my like Rolodex of what I'm doing. So I'm like, now I'm in school from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. When I first started going to school, I was in school from 9 a.m. to 3:30.
That's so tight because I feel like a lot of people miss that. If I could go to college again right now, it would be completely different. I would have taken full advantage of what I was doing. Every second of every day, I wanted to get the fuck out of there so I could go chill and do whatever. And
But like,
stupid.
did you have friends in college?
I have friends.
I had no friends.
I know, but I'm saying now, even
Yeah.
with friends, I would try to train myself to do what you did because, like, I look at it like this: like, all right, cool, I'm gonna move to LA, and for me, it was like I'm gonna give myself a month or 2 months, and I'm just gonna try to figure this out. And I got here, and I sat there, and I didn't know what to do. And then as soon as I applied myself to something, I just went as hard as I could. Even this tour I'm about to go on, it's like right now, I'm balancing my real life with my girl and all this stuff and all these things I gotta do, and then getting on the road. It's like, all right, cool. If I can't be with her, then what do I do? Do I sleep during those times? Do I just chill and do what? It's like I'm gonna go 100% hammer on everything I possibly can to fill that time.
Exactly.
I think that's the best thing you could have done is make your day a 12-hour day or 13-hour, 15-hour day.
But the thing was, to me, it wasn't even like a thought process. It's like, I'm depressed in my tiny little apartment,
Which
with
is
no
mad
heater.
sad, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that happened to you because, dude, you just put yourself twice the amount of work
Yeah.
to figure out and like learn.
Yeah, so I was mad depressed. I'm in this tiny little apartment. I'm taking now to like cope with my depression, which like I have like a weird understanding of depression.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can fight through anything. Really, like I really do believe like even my knee injury, like anything can be fixed if you really want it to get fixed.
Right.
And in my head, the way to fix my depression was to occupy myself with more things. So that's what I did. I started to like double down in school. And as I was double downing in school, I was like, you know what used to really bring me joy was street art. So on the way home from school, instead of taking the metro home, I'm gonna walk the streets and do some street art. And right before I had left the States, I had invented this thing where I would put fully framed, ornate framed works in the street, like repetitively, like 4 or 5 of them at a time. And they would create like street art galleries. And the idea was that I got so caught up in the galleries making money that I kind of neglected the streets. And I was trying to give back to the streets and say, I'll make work just as refined and finished for the streets as I do for the gallery. So I had just done that before I left, and it had costed me a lot of money. And when I was in Paris, I'm like, now that I'm gonna commit to making the street art in my life again, I'm gonna do it as well as I did before I left, like really ornate, really well done and everything. And one of my classes happened to be sculpting and like sculpting and reproducing sculptures, because that's a big thing in art. Like a replica of a sculpture is a big thing.
Okay.
There's a lot of artists that like you make an edition of 8 or 9, so they taught us how to do that. That's a very technical thing. So I told myself the first thing I'm going to replicate is a frame. And since I'm broke, the only thing I can afford is cement and plaster, because you get like 10 kilos for like €7.
Oh, word.
So it's like 20 pounds for like $14.
Yeah.
Between $12 and $14, which wasn't that bad to me. Like, and school supplied the water to mix it. So I was like, yo,
I'm good.
Like, I can make street art with this. So I invented the little cement frame, and then I had stickers printed. I bought like a little printer. I was printing stickers, and I'd put like a Morons sticker inside this little cement frame, and I'd put like 4 or 5. Like I'd put like a Morons, a Lost Values, a Bankruptcy Express, and I'd put them in the street everywhere when I was walking home. And then on Sundays when I was bored, I would do that, and Saturday nights I would do that, and any free time I would fill it with
Just
street
go
art,
out there.
because I was just so lonely and bored, and
Right.
I'm not really eating good food, so like might as well walk the streets and enjoy the city. And,
Yeah.
and I'm doing that, and then within 3 weeks of me doing that, I'm on the cover of like the equivalent of the New York Times in Paris.
Wait, what the fuck?
For real.
Starving kid dies in the street.
No, not even like that. They weren't even talking like that. They were just,
They just saw it.
they saw it and they're like, street art was on its come up, and they're like, new street artist appears in Paris as the streets of Paris become more and more famous for street art, and they like list Space Invader, who's like the number 1 artist, Colette, who's like the biggest Italian street artist ever, and then Kai.
Fuck.
I'm like, fuck, I made it. Oh my god, I made it. Like, I'm in the newspaper.
But were you doing, like, when you were doing it, were you like, maybe someone will cover this? Were you thinking, like, maybe someone will interview me about this?
No, I was just like
bored and trying
I
to
was
create.
bored, lonely, like sad, depressed, like, and I was just creating to create for the love of creating.
And were any of the other kids that you were going to school with doing anything near this?
None of the kids in my school did street
art at all?
No.
But were they compete, like, the equivalent to, like, finding success in street art, were they trying to do that in galleries
in
or
Europe?
in
In Europe,
like
you
that?
do that with like institutions, and like, there's real belief in art in Europe.
Right.
Like an institution will grant you $30,000 to create a collection to be on view at their institution.
Oh, okay, word.
So like there's real backing in Europe.
Right.
Here we don't have that. We're starting to get that more and more, but it's not the same. Like,
Right. Okay.
You tell some people you're an artist, they're like, oh wait, how do you pay your rent?
Yeah. Exactly.
But in Europe it's like it's a waste of time to be a street artist, really, because you can get grants. You can, if you have a good enough like CV, like I went to this school, I learned under this teacher, I interned for this artist, I did this, like you can get a big grant, and your career can kind of
shape itself that way. So you get in this cover.
I got on the cover of the newspaper, and like the thing that got me on the cover was the cement frame. Like
That's fucking
Kai's combination of old frame with modern imagery has taken over the streets in a new fun way or something. I don't remember what it said. And I'm like stoked. And like it's 4 frames on the top cover of the newspaper, and like Invader, who's like the biggest street artist in Europe, has like a tiny little picture like this big.
What?
And Clet has a tiny, and I'm like huge on the top. And I show my dad that, and he's like, you made it. He's like, I'm like, what? He's like, you found your style. He's like, all the other shit you were doing, like that's kind of like a Warhol knockoff. That's kind of like a Damien Hirst knockoff. That's kind of like you were inspired by other artists. This is kind of your own thing. I'm like, what do you mean? It's a Morons and the cement frame is the exact same thing I did before. He's like, no. The cement frame is really cool.
Right.
And then everyone around me is like, yo, the cement frame. I saw the cement frame. And kids in school kind of knew it was me because they saw me working on these cement frames during class. Like, I'm making like a bunch of cement frames in class.
I go, what the fuck?
Like, why do you have like a box of 200 cement frames? I'm like, oh, like for my show, like, like kind of making up excuses. And I'm like I had like boxes and boxes of cement frames. Because it takes time for them to dry and stuff. So you make like 100, it takes 7 days for something like that to dry. So you can't really use it for 7 days. So you keep making them for 7 days, and you get like a exorbitant amount, and then you start using the ones you made 7 days ago, and like it's just a cycle.
Were you keeping those at school?
Yeah, I was keeping them in
I
school.
was gonna say, where the fuck were you putting them?
I was keeping them in school. Like the cool thing about Europe and about like Lebozau or Enspo or whatever, is that it's a really old school and like there's all these like little like caves and
Yeah.
like alleys. So you kind of like mark your territory in one of them, and it kind of becomes like your
Space.
like your storage room or space. And like some kids like put like a lamp in there and like 2 chairs and they'll read. Or I was just using mine as storage because I had a tiny ass apartment.
Right.
Nowhere to go.
Fuck. So how do you mount that shit? Are you
secret.
mounting?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a secret.
That's a super secret.
It's not string and
I
a nail.
wish. I fucked up like 100 of them before I got them.
I was gonna say, I feel like that.
There was also like a learning curve, like, but it was so exciting to like figure out how to mount them and like get them to stay, that it like fueled me even more to make them.
Yeah.
Like it didn't work. Like I would go back the next morning on the way to school, like, oh, that one didn't stay.
Bro.
Why didn't that one stay? Like, why is that one on the floor broken? Like, oh, this thing didn't work. Maybe I need to try a new technique. And I'm making up my own techniques, and like I'm in school learning, and at the same time I'm like processing, like, oh, I messed up on that street over there. Why did that one fall to the ground? Is it the wall? Is it the way I chose to mount it? Is it the frame itself? Like, and I was like testing new methods every day because I was doing it every single day on the way home.
Right.
And every morning I would see my results. So it was like immediate results. Like, it didn't stick. What did I do wrong? Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. So I was like, that was giving me like a bright spot in my day. Like, I'm going to go home, put up stuff in the street, and tomorrow morning I'll see if it's stuck.
You think before you die, like right before you're about to take your last breath, that you'll drop like a book with all the tricks? Or is that fuck it up for everyone else that's going to come up?
My tricks, you can learn them if like the way I did. Like, if you really want to like learn how to do it real quick,
yeah,
you can like really put yourself in, like, tell yourself, I want to be able to put up cement frames in the street, and then you'll make a cement frame, and then you'll deal with the same situations that I did. But I think like the fact that it's kind of like a challenge is what separates me from everyone else, because now when you're in LA or New York or Miami or Paris or London, Amsterdam, like any city I've been to, I'm the only one that does cement frames because I'm the only one that's figured it out.
And it looks like a pain in the ass. Like, it's got to take fucking 7 days just for that shit to dry.
It is a pain in the ass.
That's sick.
But it's like my pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And people, I don't even have to put my name on it. People know, like, oh shit, that's Kai.
Right.
So I did the cement frames in Paris. I finished school in Paris. I'm on the newspaper. I come home, and I'd put on, like, in the cement frames, I put Morons, Bankruptcy Express, Lost Values. All these pieces based on language, and especially on the English language, and they're in Europe, and only 50% of the people understand it.
Yeah.
And if they do, they're not really understanding it. So let's say 2% of the people actually understood the work I was doing.
You had to convert that shit.
And I was like, no one's understanding what I'm doing. I've still made the cover of the newspaper, but no one understands what I'm doing. This sucks.
So you started doing all that shit in French?
No. So I told myself, like, I want to travel and do this more. I have to find a way to do this without using any words.
I see what you're saying. Fuck.
How do you talk to people without using any words? Like, how?
Sign language.
Yeah, I wish. But no one can read sign language.
Yeah, fuck.
So, I get like a little sad again, because now I'm home. I'm moved back in with my parents. I was just alone by myself in Paris. Anywhere I went, I was kind of depressed, to be honest. Like,
right.
There was no like golden moment yet. Like, I didn't move back to the States and like have my own apartment and a lot of money. Like, I moved back to the States into my parents' house. I'm 22 years old.
Trying to figure out.
No, I'm like 21 years old, trying to figure it out. Like, shit. Like, fuck. I still didn't figure it out. I went to the best school in the world for a full year. I was on the cover of the newspaper. I feel like I've accomplished more than anyone I know.
Right.
But I still ain't shit. I'm still like living with my mom and my dad, and I have no money, and no one really knows who I am. Some people know who I am now, and some people don't. But like, I'm not like a household name.
I was gonna say, how do you capture the fans or whatever? You know, now it's Instagram. Follow me, and then you can gauge your viewership.
At the time when I was in Paris, Instagram had just been invented.
Oh, cool.
So I got an Instagram, and I didn't know what I was doing. And
were you signing your work with like your at?
Oh yeah, I was at Kai Aspire at the time.
You would do it that way? I think when I first did, you just change that then, right?
Yeah, I just got Kai Art recently.
I was gonna say, I remember that's what I followed originally. That's funny.
But I just was like, I need to find a way to speak to everyone.
Yeah.
That was like my main thing. Like, if I can talk to everyone and everyone can understand it, then I think everyone will just like the messages. They might not like me, but they'll like the work that we put out, or I put out. I say we a lot now.
Yeah.
Because I built a team. When I got home from Europe, I was like, now I'm going to build a team. Now I understand how this works. I need to build a team to help me execute what I have in my head, but I have no money.
So what do you do?
So what do you do? First, you have to find a way to speak to everyone with no words. So I come up with the idea of creating my own character and putting my character in situations that I've personally been in or people around me have been in.
Right.
That will speak volumes to everyone around me. And that's when CalArts education kicks in. The ability to create a still frame that I am trying, the ability to create a still frame that expresses the feeling that I'm trying to tell the viewer, show the viewer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create a single one frame image that gives you a message or a feeling that I'm trying to give you.
Without words.
Without words. Fuck. So that's when my CalArts education kicked in, and all those annoying classes that I hated as a freshman
start to make sense. Why are you arguing with your teachers about? Fuck this shit.
And they finally made sense. And it's like, there was no other, like, I never had like an aha moment, like, oh, this is what I was learning at CalArts. But now looking back at it, I'm like, that's what I learned at CalArts. Is how to speak and say something to a viewer and make sure they understand it without using any words, without using any language, and in one single frame. Like, I don't have 60 seconds to tell you, like, oh, like, let's just use love versus money. Like, oh, here's a bag of money, and here's your girlfriend, and your girlfriend wants to spend time with you, but you have to spend time at work, and now you're caught in between both.
Right.
And I don't have like a 60-second video I can make you. I have to make it in one single image, in one frame. How the fuck do you do that? And I have to be able to understand what I'm making, and then you as a viewer who doesn't know what I'm trying to say
needs to be able to soak that up.
Needs to be able to understand that. And they need to come to their own conclusion, but have their conclusion somewhat be similar to my conclusion, or else what I'm doing has no purpose.
Right.
And that's when CalArts kicked in. Like, bam! I know how to do this. I know how to execute what I'm thinking and make sure the viewer understands what I'm thinking. They might come at it a different route than I do, but we'll have somewhat a similar ending point. Boom, CalArts education kicks in.
And that's what creates the character?
And that's what creates the stills that the character is stuck in.
Okay, I got you. Martin Luther King, like those things, like being in these scenarios.
Or like being caught between love and money, like being caught between that struggle of, oh, I need the financial basis, but I want to follow my dreams. But do I get a real job, or do I follow how does any, or I need to spend time with the people I love and I need to be at work. Like, how do you convey that in a single frame? Now looking at love versus money, you're like, oh, no shit, like that's how you do it. But if that wasn't there, how would you explain that to someone? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fucking mad difficult.
Yeah.
That's a crazy challenge.
So like doing that over, and like you're not a one-hit wonder either.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be one. So doing that over and over and over, like, how do I execute that? Knowledge is more important than physical strength.
Right.
Knowledge is power. It's like a little guy standing on a stack of books. He's taller than the tall guy. And he's like giving the tall guy the secret to being powerful. Here's the book. Knowledge is power.
Right. That's hard.
How do I say, like, we're caught up in consumerism? How do I say, as a society, we're all caught up in the idea of consuming?
Show my drawer full of old iPhones?
I don't know, right? So my thought process was, we're locked up to the barcode. We're in jail behind a barcode.
I love that one.
To me, that's a symbol of consumerism. The barcode that scans.
Right.
Every time that thing scans, you know you owe money.
Yeah.
So to me, that's consumerism in a nutshell. And then being locked up in it is literally being behind the barcode.
Right.
So
I love that.
That message tells itself. So I learned that at CalArts.
Right.
And now, how do I convey it in a more interesting way than just a drawing? Well, the cement frames worked.
Yeah.
And the Greeks and Romans did reliefs in cement and in plaster. Once I use that old technique that I learned at NSPA and make it modern with my modern character.
Shazam. Damn.
And I create these little cement plaques that I start to put up in the streets. And all of a sudden I go from like a little kid in the streets and in the viewers of the street art world and in the art world to like, holy shit, these are bangers.
Yeah, for sure.
Holy shit. Like, what is this kid cooking up? Like, where did he get where is this concept coming from? How is the combination and the juxtaposition of old technique and old look, they always looked aged and worn out, mixed with like these very modern and simple forms, give me such a powerful message. And how are they in the street for free? How is this like, what is like art people could not process, like what is happening? And this was me just trying to like do street art in like a more fun way that I can make it like accessible to everyone in the world, not only in America, not only in London. Like, I'm trying to make street art accessible to everyone, that everyone understands, and there's always a powerful message behind it. It was never like, let me just like cook up, this is how you make a hit, like a G chord, an A chord, and like, it was like, let me make something accessible and understood in the whole world. Let me make it for cheap, let me make it beautiful, and let me make it look like it's been there forever.
Fuck.
And that's what I did, the cement frame with a cement plaque in it with a powerful message.
When did you start that?
I started that 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Damn.
And the crazy thing is I make these characters, right? And then how do I make the character not biased? How do I make the character not resemble me as a person?
Right.
How can I make it that you can see yourself as a character? You can see your, like, hey, Johnny, like, that's you behind the barcode. That's not me. That's you. You
right.
Buying
You
stuff.
buy shit.
Or like, hey, like, that's you. And like, hey, Andrew, that's you in the hamster wheel. You're always working. Why do you work so much?
Right.
Or, hey, like, you know, like, how do I make a universal symbol for humans in like a simple character that I need to sculpt and then be able to replicate and put in the street? Like, it's such a, like, everything becomes like, you need to hit all these check marks.
Right, right.
And one day I'm in an airport and I'm looking, I'm like, damn, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom so bad. And I'm like, and
saw that motherfucking guy.
And I can't read the signs, bro.
Oh.
I'm like, fuck, which one is bathroom? And I see the little bathroom symbol. I'm like, that's the bathroom. That means man. And I'm like, my character needs to be that person.
Right.
That's it. Like, bing! Like, light bulb, like, moment of, like, ecstatic understanding of the world. And, like, my character needs to be everyone. And what is everyone? The bathroom symbol.
So true. That's so fucking true.
I just need to give him a soul.
Yeah.
So what I do is I go back to all the cartoons that I love, and I just start stealing a little bit from them. Like, oh, I love Mickey's hands, but I hate the fact that they're gloves. So let's get rid of the part that makes it a glove.
Right.
I love the Pink Panther growing up, and I love how, like, his body, like, the way he was so graceful and everything. Let me just slim out and kind of spaghetti form the bathroom symbol so he has more of like a Pink Panther feel. And let me give the character eyes, and like, eyes are the key to all expression.
Right.
So let me give him very expressive eyes, and like, and it was just like literally trying like a checklist. I need him to do this, that, and this, and
which is dope because it's paying homage to like
everything. Yeah, that I loved.
Yeah, from so many different angles.
Yeah, and the character came to be, and my thing was, now that I can give it to the world and the whole world will understand it, let's go on a world tour. Fuck it.
That was after I met you.
Yeah, right after. So
because I remember you were like, yeah, I gotta leave. I'm going on a world tour. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I was the same way. I'm like, how do you do a world tour with art?
So that's what I did. I took street art, and I said, now that everyone in the world will understand my street art because there's no words to it, and I think I'm pretty good at making everyone understand a story with a single frame, I'm going to put it in the whole entire world. So I had $10,000 saved, and I said, these will cover flights. I will call everybody I know in every city that I go to and say, let me please stay on your couch. Please. And please feed me. Please, I know I'm asking a lot, but let me get this tour done.
Right.
And I hit 12 cities across the world with my little cement guys or girls. Or
right.
The character's name is If. Stands for imaginary friend. So let me hit the world let me hit 12 cities with If. And hopefully people will understand the messaging and they'll just like it. I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
I don't care about money. I don't care. I want to be like cemented in the history of art.
Right.
Literally cemented, like pun intended. Like use cement to be forever remembered in art.
You can only put it up on cement walls, right?
I can put it up on anything.
Like
except
wood.
for glass.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
and let me just get my space in art before art dies. And I did it, and I went around the world, and I slept on everyone's couch, and I bothered everyone for a long time. I was on the road for like almost like 18 months.
Jesus Christ. Which country did you go to?
My furthest one was Israel.
Fuck.
And the closest one was Malibu, like
Yeah.
super close to super far, like. And I went onto like army bases, and I did like all the craziest things.
And is this are the places you're hitting pre-approved, or is it still like the hustle of like walking up and put up on that?
It's still the hustle of like walking up. No one knows what I'm doing. I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like,
okay, word.
GoPro on my chest, GoPro on my head, scorpion tail GoPro. Like, I look like a fool. I have like a huge thing. GoPros everywhere. Like, I stick out like a sore thumb, and I don't give a fuck. I'm doing street art.
Right.
Arrest me, please.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you're gonna have all the footage of me doing dumb shit.
It's right
like,
here.
it's all on me.
Damn.
And I had like the mindset of like, let's film everything and let's make everything into short videos.
Right.
And then this is where like my best friend comes into play, Kim. Kim is a friend from like when I'm growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I find out that she's editing like little rap videos. And I like watch one of her videos. I'm like, yo, she's sick. She's crazy good at it. I can't pay for her to come with me on these trips, but she tells me like, use a GoPro and send me footage and I'll edit, and you can make like short little videos, and I'll cut it up real nice.
Right.
And I'm like, game, bet, let's do it.
Right.
And in the beginning I would pay Kim whatever I could to like just cut up whatever, and then I was like, I'm a little bit obsessive, so I would sit with her like, you need to cut this 2 frames out. She's like, what do you mean 2 frames? No one's gonna see these 2 frames. You're crazy. And we started to create a style of editing what I was doing, and she just started to like be able to read my mind from hundreds of miles away. Like, I'm in London and she can cut up London.
Right.
I'm in whatever and she can cut up. And without her, I don't think I would have been as successful.
Damn. Because you're feeding that shit just straight to Instagram.
Yeah, I'm feeding it to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm just feeding it out there and hoping that someone sees it.
Right.
And hoping that someone like really vibes with the message and like the idea of doing this world tour, and the idea of being able to like give the same message to so many different people with so many different backgrounds and so many different languages being into play, and everyone still has the same feeling about it.
And that's what's sick too that you're doing with like having Kim involved, is like, this shit, I might not have ever walked by your piece. Mm-hmm. Which is not true. Every time I drive, I see your fucking shit all over LA, which is dope. But like, you know, when I lived in Iowa, you weren't in Iowa. Did you ever come to Iowa?
Not yet.
That's right.
Soon.
But I'm saying like it's an early way for me to adapt and understand that this exists out there, which I think is really cool.
And it was also an early way for me to tell people I'm not like a poser. I don't say I'm a street artist and I've done 1 wall and 2 little wheat paste. No, like, there is hardcore evidence and footage of me climbing a 4-story building to put up a little cement piece.
Yeah.
Or hanging off a cliff to do it. Or standing in a lift on a huge mural on the top of the cage trying to like finish the heart of a balloon. Like, and Kim was able to execute and like express how grunge and like to the street I was. Like, I did not give a fuck. She was able to take like some really horrible footage and make it mean something. And I don't think without her people would have understood like, I'm in this for the long haul. Like, I am an OG. I understand the rules of this game, and I'm going to play by the rules, and I'm going to be better at anyone with following these rules. Like, I'm never going to call myself a street artist if I'm not doing street art. I'm never going to call myself an installation master if I'm not installing the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Right.
So, if there's no footage and there's no photos, people can just say bluff, like, oh, you're full of shit.
Right.
But Kim was able to take in all this footage and information and make it so people, like, anyone in the world could be like, oh, damn, did you hear what Kai did in Paris? He went in the subway and put up art. Like, oh, my God, the OGs used to paint the subway trains.
Yeah.
In the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever. Do you see Kai did the subway trains in New York? That's what they used to do in the 80s in the Bronx. And did you see Kai went to the Eiffel Tower and did some street art next to the Eiffel Tower? How badass is that? Like, he could go to jail. And did you see that Kai went into a war zone in Israel and did street art about love and happiness in a war zone to like kind of bring light to like. And Kim, without Kim, it's just me telling you the story.
Right.
But because of Kim,
it's
you can watch it and you can feel it.
Yeah.
And I think that was like a big. It was like something I had above everyone else. Like, I did two things that a lot of people didn't want to do. I traveled and made sure that my work was understood by everyone. So in Israel, it was understood. In London, it was understood. Amsterdam, Paris, Miami. Like, anywhere you went, you saw Love versus Money, you understood Love versus Money. A guy in Paris understood Love versus Money, whatever.
Yeah.
And two, you understood that I wasn't like this person that just hopped on the scene and was like, oh, I need respect and credit. No.
Been there.
I've been there. I've done all the stuff that the OGs before me did, and
Right.
I've gone further by making these cement frames and these plaques.
Fuck.
And I kind of created my own alley and my own pathway to say, like, yo, Kai is not a joke. Kai is here as a heavy hitter.
Right.
And that's how I do everything. Like I said, I'm obsessive. I needed to be the best. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
So that's what we tried to do. So once Kim came on board and she was editing and cutting, and then when I was like stateside and she would like help me film, and
Right.
shit started to pop off. Like, damn, did you see Kai's video? Did you see Kai do what he did in New York? Like, that's crazy. Did you see what he did in Miami? Did you see what he did over there in LA? And then no one knows where I live now.
Right.
Because I'm in all these different cities, hitting all these different cities, and like it's a huge mystery, and there's no images of my face anywhere, and people are like,
Who the fuck is
who
he?
the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
How old is he? Like, what does he look like? Is it a girl? Like, it's just like this huge barrage of confusion.
You know this podcast is public, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
So I'm talking to the female artist later, Kai.
But
That's tight.
so it becomes this huge thing of confusion, and that's when I realized, like, I don't care how popular or famous or how much money I make, because now I'm getting fan mail from Israel, and I'm getting fan mail from Amsterdam, and I'm getting fan mail from Paris, and I'm getting fan mail from all these different places saying, like, yo, your work really affected me and helped me make a decision in my everyday life. Your Love versus Money made me realize I never want money to make my decisions for me. I want my heart to make my decisions. Or your hamster wheel image made me realize I work too much. I need to be at home more. Or Knowledge is Power gave me the courage to ask a girl out because I realized I'm worth something. Or, you know what I mean?
Right. That's tight.
But in every different city across the
That's
whole
fucking
entire
crazy.
world. So now
That's crazy.
So now, like, you're affecting a huge group of people, and it's like, damn,
That was the goal.
this is the goal. Like, we've achieved the goal. How do we keep going? And then that's when, like, things get crazy. It's like I start to work with celebrities. And we
Right.
start to make paintings.
Are
and
they
we
just
start-
finding you from like social, just the word of mouth?
They're
and
just
shit?
finding me, like, this OG artist Kai is killing it. And people think I'm really old and
Right.
like been around for a minute.
Yeah.
And then they meet me like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're 20 what?
Right.
How old are you? What? I don't understand. People are like confused.
Oh shit! I'm FaceTiming my brother on
Oh,
accident.
okay.
He answered too, and my bad, Sean.
But people are super
yeah.
confused. Like, how are you your age and giving that message to these people with not using any words and being in all these different cities and have all this different footage and all this, like, how did you
Yeah.
do all these things? And I'm just like, I got up one day and I was like, I'm going to do it. And we did it. There was no ends, ifs, or but. There was no, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, it was, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to figure it out.
Damn.
And if we don't figure it out, well, then it's only a flight home.
Yeah, that's
Or a
always
bus
true.
ride home.
Right.
Or,
That's the same thing with me moving here, because I'm
Yeah.
like, at the end of the day, like, I go home. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? My family will take me into the couch, and I'm
yeah.
good.
Or you'll just die and you'll be
Oh,
put in the ground.
yeah.
And you'll be right back where you started. You know what I mean? So,
Damn.
and there was like a lot of obstacles. Like, I almost get arrested in Israel, and like you lose your passport if you get arrested in Israel, or getting stopped by
That's
the
so
police in
fucking scary.
Paris.
Dog, I got stopped by the police. I got stopped by the military in Paris for flying my drone.
That's crazy. So
So that shit's fucking
that's scary.
intimidating
Yeah.
as
And you're
fuck.
like, you're not in a different country and you're by yourself and no one knows you. And like, but the greatest thing that happened to me was being depressed in school a year and a half earlier, because now I'm traveling and
Right.
nothing makes me depressed, because I had already hit such a low point that
Mm.
anything above that was
Yeah.
fine.
Right. It's a blessing and a
Excuse
curse
me.
or whatever
Yeah.
you want to say. Like, that shit's...
Like, I was so depressed that like when I'm traveling now, I still get sad. Like, I'll go on trips by myself, and or like sometimes I go with like one other person, or sometimes we go like the whole squad, like 6, 7 deep.
Right.
But sometimes you're like on the road so much and you're like in so many different cities, you're like, damn, I just want to go home to my bed
Mm-hmm.
and take a nap
Yeah.
and not worry about, like, is this sculpture going to make it through the night, or is this installation going to work, or did the delivery of paintings make it on time? Is
Right.
anything broken? Like, sometimes you do miss home, but I've been at such a low point that when I'm at that low point, I'm like, damn, I was in Paris, freezing, eating rice and drinking water by myself, broke. This is like a million times better.
Yeah, that's a real come up.
Yeah, like now I'm in Paris with the most famous French actor in the world, sleeping at his house, eating with him and his friends, and still doing street art. Oh yeah, nothing's nope. That's not as bad as it was before.
Hell no. Damn.
Or I'm in Miami sleeping on my homie's couch because I'm a little bit cheap, and I'm used to it now. Like,
hey, couch surfing.
I'm a
pro.
Even now when we can afford hotels, I'm like, no, let's couch surf. Like, why? I'm like, we've done it before. Like, why are we gonna get bougie about it now?
Right.
So like now I'm at my homie's house in Miami, sleeping on his couch, eating dinner with him. Like going to do street art at night, getting arrested in Miami. That's still better than being in Paris by myself, depressed in the cold.
Mm-hmm. So what is it when you start working with celebrities and like building that relationship? You know, I think a lot of people look at it like an opportunity, obviously, to when you see a celebrity, you're like, oh, cool, I get their fan base. I can tap into this fan base, and it becomes something like that. Does that matter at all? Do you cater your art to that? Like, say you just did Jeezy and you did the collab on the...
on the mural for Jeezy.
Was that in Miami?
No, that was in LA, Beautiful and Damned.
Okay, yeah. So you did that, like, obviously it's his album and shit, but your collaboration. Yeah. Like, how do you go about working these things out with these people?
So everyone's different. Like, my first big celebrity cosign, other than, like, just like an Instagram post or an Instagram shout out, like, my first celebrity that come in and say, like, I really fuck with you is Chris Brown. Right. That's where I met you. Yeah. And at that time, I think I had enough integrity and understanding of my value and my worth that I didn't like water down who I was to work with Chris Brown.
I see what you're saying.
I stayed true to what I was doing. Right. Like we were still doing meaningful, powerful work with Chris. Like the first collaboration I ever did with Chris was an interpretation of Morons with monsters in it. Like cigarettes are monsters. They ruin you. That was my first collaboration with Chris Brown. Like I did not take it easy. Like I was going for a knockout punch with my first collab with Chris. And people are like, "Why? How could you do that? Like, aren't you scared?" Like, I'm like, "No, I've always been about this. Why am I gonna change?" Right. And if his fans don't care for it, at least the people who have supported me are not gonna say, "Damn, you sold out." Right. You stayed true to who you are. So that was like my first collab, and then everything after that was, all my work with Chris always had a meaning and a message behind it. And I was very adamant at expressing that to Chris. Like, we're gonna work together. I respect the fact that you respect me. But we have to make it meaningful. Like, it's not about just pretty. Right. And I know that me and Chris had like a misunderstanding once. We did a couple pieces for a charity in Miami, and one of them was to paint a hood of a Porsche. And he wanted to paint Mega Man on it. And I was like, "Okay, you're gonna paint Mega Man on it?" I'm like, "There's no message behind that." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but Mega Man's dope." I was like, "Cool, then you're signing this one just Chris Brown or Confused." That's what he goes by. Right. You're just going to sign Confused. I'm not putting my name. I'm not associating myself with that. There's no meaning and message behind it. Even though you're super tight. Yeah. And I really fuck with you. Like, I'm not going to let myself give in to what you want. Right. I'm going to be me. And he really fucked with that.
It's got to be even.
It's not. It's just got, you got to do you and I got to do me. And if we don't meet in the middle, then you can have it. And I'll just do me on my own thing.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what it was. And it was just like, okay, like, cool.
Right.
And he did him on that Porsche hood. And the Porsche hood didn't sell, and the Porsche hood stayed there. And everything else that we collaborated on and I made sure had a meaning sold. And he's like, "Damn, Kai, you really know art." I'm like, "Yeah, dude. This is what I do."
Right. Like, but I think that's what he gravitates towards, is people that he can respect on that artistic level.
So when I worked with Chris, it was like that. And then you're working with Chris Brown, who's at the time just getting out of jail, fresh out of jail, sober, like super cool, like the biggest celebrity in the world. And when I mean the biggest celebrity in the world, like, we can't get a cup of coffee without, like,
insanity.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, the worst thing ever. Like, hanging out with him sometimes is, like, the worst thing ever. And you're around him, and you're doing you, 100% you, and then his fans are like, "Damn,
this is tight.
We see what he does with Chris, and he does the exact same thing by himself. This guy's super cool." And then your fan base starts to grow. Right. And it's not growing for the wrong reasons. It's not growing because I'm hoeing myself out or whoring myself out or whatever. It's growing because they fuck with what I did with Chris, and they still fuck with the exact same thing that I'm doing by myself.
Yeah.
And then people start to realize, like, damn, Kanye's like on the come up. He's working with Chris, the biggest celebrity in the world. And then at this time, I still had friends in the industry. Like, I was so true to myself the whole time that I became friends with everyone in the music and movie industry just because they were simply fans of the work in the street.
Right.
They're like, oh, yeah, you're the guy that does the Love versus Money. Like, that's my life. Like, I really fuck with that. I didn't even know that was you. That's crazy.
Like, yep.
Yep, that's me. I'm like, oh, my God, can you do this with me? Or, oh, my God, can I get your number? Like, I want to buy something. Or, oh, my God, like,
Crazy.
we should just hang out.
Yeah.
I just, like, the what you're putting out for people, I really fuck with, so I must fuck with you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's super tight. I was going to say weird because it's funny how people gravitate towards something. And, like, your initial thing was, I need to create a character that is not biased.
Yeah, that was the idea. It was, like, just everyone.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing of it all is, like, when the person you're a fan of your whole life is a fan of you, and you don't even know it.
Right.
So, like, they come in super excited. Chris was so excited to work with me because he was a fan of what I was doing.
It's fucking weird, right?
So fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
That the first time we met, we had said we'll meet up at 7:30. He was there at 7 o'clock waiting in his car. Like,
it's a rarity.
It's a rarity.
Rarity.
Like, what? Like, the dude is waiting for me.
Yeah.
And, like, here I'm, like, tripping out. Like, oh, my God, I'm not ready. I'm not on time. Like, we said 7:30. He showed up early. I'm not ready. He gets out of the car to help me get ready.
Here, bro, let me get that.
Let me get. He's like, wait a second. You're what? You're so young, bro. I thought you were way older. Like, you're an OG. I saw all the videos you did with KDNA. Like, you're popping. I'm like, oh, by the way, this is K. This is KDNA. Like, she's standing right here.
Yeah.
What? It's a girl? No way it's a girl. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like.
Crazy.
And you realize, like, the person that you're a fan of is a fan of you.
And been paying attention.
And they've been paying attention because you've been you, and you're a fan of them because they've been them.
Right.
And none of you, like, you've never, like,
morphed to
be what everyone else wants you to be.
That's tight. What would you say is, like, your favorite project that you've done with, I don't know, someone famous or celebrity or brand or something like that? Do you work with brands? We did a Champion Complex Con release. Sold out really quick. Was really fun. That's dope. I don't know if I have, like, a favorite project. I think the first time I painted with Chris was, like, a rarity, and I don't think anyone expected to see Chris paint with me, because I was still not, like, I was, like, on the come up. Right. Still. Like, people were, like, knew who I was, but I wasn't, like, a household name. I'm still not a household name, but I was still, like, I'm not. We didn't have the studio we're in right now. Like, right. We had, like, 900 square feet. Now we have, like, 3,000 square feet. Like, yeah. I was still, like, on the way up. Right, right. I'm still on the way up today, but. Sure. I think working with Chris that first time and him being so excited, and to the point of, like, when there was trash on the floor at the end of the night, he was picking up the trash, like, trying to make sure, like, that you were good, that I was good, and that I respected him for being a normal human being. And I was like, damn, like, Chris Brown is picking up trash. Right. Dude has more money than everyone in the 10-block radius, and he's picking up trash. Right. Because I'm in the room. Like, that's dope. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a good pat on the back, or like a good, like. Good, like, we're on the same level. Yeah, absolutely. And working with Chris was always, like, a blessing. Then working with anyone is a blessing. Mm-hmm. But I think the truest and the greatest collaborations I've done are with my team. Like, to be able to come into my studio every morning, and I've had the beauty of hiring, like, my homies. That's sick. To work with me, and I can, like, honestly take their opinion at face value. Like, if Kim or KDNA says, "Oh, that shit's whack," I'm like, "Oh, damn, like, uh-oh, what did I do? Like, am I tired? Did I not sleep on that flight? Like, am I missing? Did I miss a step? Did I, like?" Sure. Or if my homies in the studio are like, "Oh my God, dude, you just made the craziest fire I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is gonna be crazy." I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "All right." Right. It's like, cosign. Okay, cosign. And those are my favorite cosigns, because those are the people who've known me when I was nobody, and the people who have known me today, and they're like, "Yo, you haven't changed." Like, how the fuck do you not buy nicer shoes? Right. Why do you still wear Converse? Why do you, like, always wear a black T-shirt? Like, go buy yourself nice clothes. Like, they know me, like, as the guy who's never changed. Right. And for them to say, like, you making garbage and you're making great shit when, like, relative to what I'm making is great, because I know that they're being honest and real with me. For sure. They're not coming into the studio like, "Oh, wow, that's amazing, bro." Like, Just like trying to shoot.
Just trying to shoot, like, yeah, just trying to make me happy and like say like, oh my god, that painting is so dope. Like you're gonna sell that in 2 seconds. And in reality, like that wasn't done or it doesn't look good. You're just trying to like get on my good side. I don't need you to. I don't need anyone to ever get on my good side.
Right.
Like you're not helping me by doing that.
No.
You're actually really hurting me because you're making me lazy.
Can you imagine being in a place where you just have a bunch of shitheads around you pumping?
Yeah, like just.
That, and I got to meet most of your crew when you did that piece at, where was that, off Wilshire?
Oh, we did the.
No, it was downtown.
The
drone
yeah.
shots that I got.
So you met some of my team.
Yeah.
You met like Kim, Julian, Hugh, which is a homie.
Yeah.
And I think that day you kind of saw like my essence. Like
right.
I'm standing on a
Fucking
lift.
Terrifying, dog.
I'm standing on a lift, like 20 stories in the air.
Literally, like it was by some rope and shit, and they had like a fucking escalator thingy that hangs from the building.
It's a window washer.
Yeah, people wash windows, and they just had it, but like there was no one that taught them how to use it, right?
Yeah, I didn't know how to use it. So you have to also understand I'm a little bit of a I don't like the word manipulative, but I'm also like an opportunist. So I always tell people like, yo, come help me. And like I reassure them that they're going to be safe.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Like everyone's like, yeah, we went up there and it was in the dark. And then this is what's funny is while they're up there doing it, I'm down on the ground, I'm flying the drone, Kim's shooting some shit. And these dudes that were actually cleaning windows on the building next to us were walking by like, damn, they don't got a harness, they ain't clipped in, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck are they doing, dude? They're gonna die up there for sure. Like,
yeah, like so Julian is like my best friend, and like he'll always like if I tell him like, yo, let's jump, he'll jump with me, even though he's scared. He's like, yo, Kai got my back. I'm gonna jump. And Hugh's his cousin, who's also like a homie. And I told him like, yo, we're gonna paint this mural. You down to get on the lift with me? I'm like, yeah, Kai, you know what you're doing, right? I'm like, yeah, of course, bro. Like, I got this. I'm like, we turn it this way to go up, we turn it this way to go down, but we got to do it simultaneously at the exact same time, and we're straight. And they're like, you sure, Kai? I'm like, yeah, well, I'm sure. And they're like, you don't need a harness? I'm like, nah, bro. Like, the harness would be in the lift if we needed a harness. Like, and I'm just trying to, like, talk them into, like, we got to do this. Like, nothing is stopping us from painting this mural. Like, it's 14 feet. It's 14 stories in the air. Like, who gives a shit? Like, harness or not, if you fall, you're gonna die either way. That's what I'm thinking. But I can't tell them that because they're not gonna help me, and if no one helps me, I'm not gonna be able to do what I need to do. Yeah. So like they like thank God for like my homies in my squad, like because they held it down for me that day.
Yeah, that shit turned out fucking great.
Yeah, like Julian and Hugh at one point were so afraid of the height they couldn't move anymore.
Damn.
They were like frozen in their spot because every movement. When you're 20 stories in the air, on two tiny little strings, sways the whole thing, and you're like, you feel everything. Like you burp, everyone feels the fact that you burp because the lift moves a lot.
Fuck.
Like you're rolling the roller and the lift's like bouncing off the wall. Like,
nah.
So they're afraid, and they're not telling me they're afraid, and they're letting me do my thing, and they held me down. Like
that's dope.
So I'm blessed to have those people around me that say like, But I truly believe that nothing in this world is impossible. And they're like, okay, yeah. If you don't think it's impossible, we'll help you. Right. So I'm blessed to have that. I'm blessed to have people that when I need to do an all-nighter and finish a project that we were releasing or finish a painting that needs to be shipped out or prepare something for a show, people will stay with me in the studio until 2 o'clock in the morning just to have my back. Right. Like, I'm blessed to have that. But that's dope. That comes with time. That comes with proving yourself. Yeah. If you haven't done anything, you can't ask your homie, like, yo, stay with me until 2 a.m. They'll be like, what's the point? Like, who are you? And the real homies will tell you, like, all right, the first time they'll be like, all right, I don't know what you're going to do, but I got your back. And if you fuck them and you screw them and you waste their time, they will never help you again. Right. And I've been blessed enough that even when I do fuck up and even when I don't really come through with, they're like, all right, we saw the effort. You put in 110%. You were dead. Even though it didn't come out the way you told me it was going to come out, I'll help you on the next round. So that's dope. That's the dopest thing is, like, people respect the effort and the hustle that I give to everything.
And you take care of your squad and, like, make sure everyone's...
Oh, yeah. I make sure if Kim is not happy one day, KDNA is not happy one day, she tells me, like, yo, I'm not happy. I'm like, what will make you happy? Let's just take care of that. Like, everyone's happiness and health comes first. Like
Kim's in the room right now editing, or maybe she's done. But you need to start asking for Gucci flip flops.
don't worry, she asks for shoes every day. She's
Really?
like, yo, I need a pair of shoes.
I need some shoes. All right.
But like that's the way I think. Like
Right.
if I can help anyone, even anyone follow their dream, like KDNA wants to edit, like direct and edit and produce a music video for famous people.
Right.
I've reached out to all my contacts and like, let us do treatments for you guys.
Yeah.
Let us do this. Like, we're not a little studio. Like, we put out crazy good quality work.
Right.
And we've pitched things against huge production companies.
Right.
Like huge, like put treatments out that like are crazy.
Yeah.
That it's not something I personally want to do, but the fact that she wants to do it, I'm gonna back her 100%.
Fuck yeah.
And we're gonna do it. Like,
and utilize your resources and the things you built to make.
And also use me as like, as a plus. Like, yo, we got Kai. He can do like all the set design. He can do all the costume design. Like, I'm an asset.
Right.
Rather than like just me sitting on the corner like, yo, here are my connects, use them. Like, I'm the one that calls and like, yo, where the fuck? Like, we haven't gotten a response yet. Why aren't you helping us?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and
dope.
anyone who comes to me and like, yo, I need your help, and I really believe in what they're doing, and they've proven like I can do what I say I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bat for them.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't care. Like, even if I look stupid at the end of the day, you believe in me and I believe in you, and let's do it together.
Hell yeah.
Because a unit is way stronger than an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Way stronger. You can't push a car by yourself, but you and 2 homies, you can push a car for however long. But you and 5 homies, it doesn't even feel like you're pushing a car. And you and 20 homies,
Yeah.
what car are you pushing? You're just talking.
Right. No, yeah. I love that.
So that's what I really believe in. I believe like, if anyone ever has an idea or a dream and they're part of my like circle, let's try and make that come true.
Right.
Yeah, it might not be like you tell me on a Monday, yo, my dream is to do blah blah blah. I might tell you, look, you got to give me till Friday,
Right.
because I'm busy right now. But remind me on Friday, and I'll try and make that work. Or remind me next month. Like, never, like, I'm always there to help everyone, and I think because I'm like that, they're always there to help me.
Mm-hmm. You gotta, give in to what you want to get back, and even if you don't get it back, it's like, who gives a fuck? It's gonna come around at some point in time.
Yeah, like you, like I literally put an ad. I literally put a story post like, I need a drone pilot, and you hit me up like, yo, I got you.
Which is funny because my homie Mike,
Mm-hmm.
this is what's tight, which I hope he'll listen to the shit. He had sent me a screenshot of your something that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Sent this to me. He goes, "This guy's sick." And I'm like, "That's my homie." I'm like, "We did." Remember Chris's doc at the end? He helped with that. That was his shit. Like, look at the bottom corner. It says Kai, Chris. Like, everyone's name's on that shit. Like, that's the guy. He's like, "Oh shit, that's crazy." And then he sent me that like. Maybe a month after I knew that he was a fan of yours, he like saw the story and sent me the story, and then that's when I DM'd you. I'm like, yo, what do you fuck fool? I'm right here. What do you need?
I didn't even think to hit you. I was like, yo, Ben's busy. Like, Ben's killing it. Like,
No,
I know
yeah.
that you were killing it with riveting. I'm like, I'm not gonna like ask you to do what you do for money for
Right.
free. Like, I was like,
No, yeah,
and I knew I didn't have like a crazy budget to film it.
easy.
Yeah, but then like you slide through and like you're the homie. I'm like, damn, like
Yeah,
this is how
tight
this
too.
is how it works. Like,
Yeah,
you scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Mhm.
But no matter, even if you don't scratch my back, I got your back.
yeah. No, I hear that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It means
that's a
like
good
if I'm in a
mentality.
room and I know that you could do that job and that job is offered up, I'm gonna try and get you that job, even if we haven't spoken about it.
Right.
Even if they're like, oh, we need a drone pilot, I'm like, yo, I got the guy for you.
That's how
Even
I
though
think the
even
same
if,
way.
even if you haven't told me like, yo, I'm available, I'm
Yeah.
like, he'll tell them he can't do it.
Right,
but
right.
in my head, he's perfect for this position.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure he gets it.
That's hard.
And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least I bat for you.
Yeah, you tried. Right,
yeah,
right.
I try. I'm like, damn, like let's go. Like,
Yeah.
come on, Ben can do it. Like, look at his Instagram. Look at his thing.
Right.
Crazy portfolio. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's dope.
And I think that's more valuable than money.
And I think that that's something that a lot of people lack. And that's why I think a lot of motherfuckers lose, because they lack that skill, which I
Mhm.
don't know where that comes from, but I have a feeling just the way you talked about your family, it comes from the way the people you're surrounded with growing up and shit. And it's not like,
Not really. My family hates me.
oh, shit.
Yeah, like if you go further than my mom and dad and my siblings, like they hate me.
Well, not. But I'm
Yeah,
talking
that's
about your
like,
immediate
my
family. Yeah,
immediate
like
family,
it doesn't
like,
matter.
Yeah, fuck
else.
everyone else. But like,
They got their own thing going.
I think it comes from the idea though that I was in the streets for real.
And I think my shit was playing shows and being
Yeah.
punk and doing that whole
Yeah.
music thing. Like,
And like being so hungry and like begging people to help you, like, yo, dude, I know you can call this guy and like get me this gig.
mm-hmm.
Please call him. I'm like, no, bro, sorry, I can't help you. oh
Please.
no, like I can't help you. I don't think you're good for it. Like let them decide that.
Yeah.
And I think getting that response, like, I can't help you, you haven't proven yourself yet, hurt me so many times on the way up that I never want anyone to have that situation.
Right.
I never want anyone to come up to me and be like, yo, I really wish you could help me get in contact with G.
Mm.
And like they're actually good at what they do, and then be like, oh no, I'm not gonna burn that bridge for you.
Right.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Like, if you're not good, they're gonna tell you you're not good.
That's true.
Like, who cares?
That's true.
They're not gonna get mad at me.
Yeah.
They might get mad at me if I call the guy myself and like, yo, I have the perfect photographer, pay him. If I'm
Right.
like bossing them around, they'll get mad at me. But if I
Right.
pass the contact over and like, yo, shoot your shot,
Right. Exactly.
and just don't like sell me out. Do you like?
That's it.
They're gonna say no. They're gonna say yes. And if they say yes, you'll be happy. And if they say no, you'll just be like, thank you.
That's true.
You know
I
what I mean?
respect that shit. What's the next move for Kai?
Well, I've been blessed. I've been very, very blessed. I can't like have any other words to say, but
Oh shit.
my work's been like really well received by the public, and I just sold a sculpture to the Museum of St. Louis.
Ooh.
So it's
That's
like
sick.
that's really cool. So we're gonna install that soon
Damn.
for the city of St. Louis in the St. Louis Park. Which is like, like what? Like I was doing illegal street art, and now you're paying me
Yeah, to do
to
that
go
shit in
come
the
and
streets.
install it, and you picked out what you wanted for your city. Like, that's like a huge like.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy full circle
yeah,
shit.
full circle. That's the second museum that I'm in,
Wow,
and to do that at the age of 25, I think that's a huge blessing.
that's ridiculous.
And then it's just to continue to give people like powerful, meaningful messages,
Hell yeah.
and to never stop, and to never take no as an answer.
I think you're on the right track by, investing into a team and building out like the motive and the
Mhm.
ways that people should be moving and shit. I think that's sick.
And I think it's also cool. Like we're all friends.
Yeah.
Like we go on like a trip to Miami for Art Basel. We're all staying in one house. Like it's literally, imagine like doing college productively.
Right. Which is like what every parent hopes for their kid.
Yeah. Like, yo, please go to school and
Yeah,
do something.
please.
But like we all get to fly together, like live together, build
what you're good
together,
at.
do what we're good at, eat together,
Yeah.
laugh together, get mad at each other together, grow together. And to me, that's like the greatest gift.
Mhm.
Like when I die, I know like my 5 homies will be at my funeral, and they'll
Right.
just be like, remember that time like Kai was an idiot and he stood on the top of the lift on the cage 45 feet in the air and he could have died, like, and laugh about it. Or you know what I mean? Like the fact that we'll have memories that are further than just like money,
Right.
and like, oh, he worked with Chris, or oh, he worked with G, or oh, he worked with Drake, or oh, he worked with blah blah blah.
Mhm.
The fact that we'll have like little bits and memories in like different cities, and we get paid to travel and spread love. I think that's winning no matter
I
what.
agree. That's dope.
Like we get literally paid money to get on a plane to go do street art and film it and make a video, and I was doing that for free 4 years ago. Forever. But 4 years ago, like,
Yeah.
that's not even far. Like 4 years ago is a college experience. Like 4 years ago, I was doing that for free alone
Crazy.
by myself, and now my whole squad is getting flown out to Mexico to
That's
party
fucking crazy.
and to paint a mural. Like,
Yeah, that's dope. Right. You still don't drink, smoke, and all that shit?
no drinking, no smoking.
Did you ever like go through? Were you ever straight edge? Did you ever claim that shit, or was this just like a nah? I just don't do this.
No, I don't do that. It was always like, no, I don't
But
do this.
did you ever know straight edge kids or like that whole
people
culture?
people called me a straight edge, like, oh, damn,
Yeah,
you're a
it's
straight
easy.
edge, and I was like, what is that? Like, it means you don't do anything. I'm like, yeah, I don't do anything, but I'm not like part of a crew that doesn't do anything. Like,
Right.
all my homies smoke weed and like blow down like heavy, and like they drink and they have a good time their way. I just was way more focused.
Hmm.
I was like, I need to do this. I know it's a competitive field. I know that every minute that I'm not working,
It's all
there's
distractions.
a distraction, but there's someone else working that's about to take a step on me.
100.
So if I'm not working and there's a guy in the studio working,
Mm-hmm.
that means my whole squad, I'm going to let everyone down in my whole squad because I decided to go out and party.
Right.
And that means that's one more trip and one more fun time that we can't have together because I decided to go have fun.
True.
So if I'm in the studio working and I can take care of my whole squad, I don't care.
That's it.
But if I'm out partying and we lose a gig because I was out partying, and I was like not in the studio making a mock-up or doing a proposal or
Right.
finishing a piece, or you know what I mean, then I'm letting everyone down.
Everybody.
Because everyone counts on me now.
What a motherfucking sacrifice.
No, it's fun.
Not a sacrifice.
It's like a blessing, because now now we get to go together somewhere, and hopefully someone else will take over at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, like maybe Kim Katie and A gets a movie, and she's
Right.
like, "Yo, I need you to pause, and you need to come help me on my movie."
Mm-hmm.
And then she's taking lead, and that means I get to have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. No,
I can go bowling more hours a day.
Yeah.
And like, you know.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? Like, and hopefully, like, that's what I'm hoping to build, like, where everyone can become like the leader and the.
No, you're right on track.
But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of like being the leader.
It's like I'm not gonna let you do that shit. It's actually me. I make
I have questions.
Yeah, I post Black with No Cream. I let them ask some questions, so I'm gonna pull that up real quick. This has been a fucking good one, bro. This is gonna be my second longest podcast, I think.
So we got a question. It goes, are you related to Aaron Kai? Aaron Kai is another street artist.
Yeah, talk about it.
He's a homie I met through G-Eazy's camp.
Oh, I thought that shit was your brother.
No.
Did Aaron did the Chris thing?
Yeah, me and Aaron. No.
The doc at the end.
No, Jazz
the
did
royalty.
The doc.
Oh.
But Aaron does waves in the street.
Oh, okay.
I met Aaron Kai through G's camp.
Yeah.
And I really liked his waves, and I thought they would be a perfect background and perfect fluidity for what I was doing with the messages, and kind of give the messages a little bit more aesthetic appeal. So we linked up and we worked together. But his name is Aaron Kai and I'm just Kai.
Right.
So everyone thinks we're related.
Right, that's funny.
But we're just two different artists. He's actually from Hawaii and I'm from LA.
That's hilarious.
And we just like our work together just works really well.
Right.
So we just.
Who asked that question? I always like to tell their names because people.
You can read it. Oh, it's Cavs.z.
Okay, Cavs.z. All right. These are from the Black Window Cream group. And you can do these quick
Go
answers.
for it. Yeah.
Parker, he says Parker Nyquist. He's from Chicago. I know this dude.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process of painting a large mural? Outline things first or totally freehand?
What is it? What was it?
Like, what's the process of doing like a large mural? Is it outlining things first or totally freehand?
I like to outline things first. In the beginning, I used to do it totally freehand.
It's gonna be hard as fuck.
No, that's not the problem. The thing is, time now is becoming so valuable, and my time on a mural can be better spent sometimes doing other things.
Right.
Especially when you have like everyone counting on you to like, oh, did the proposal to Mexico go through, or did the proposal for Amsterdam, and what's happening with the museum, and you gotta go to install the museum, and is it safety regulations, and you gotta talk to the city and permits.
Yeah.
And if I spend 3 days on a mural and I don't finish the safety regulations for the installation in St. Louis, and we lose the St. Louis museum gig, like what am I doing?
Yeah. So
I've learned that my time is so valuable that anything to help me go quicker, but to execute properly is the way to do it.
That's dope. How do you stencil or not for stencil? Is that what you said? Outline things. How do you do that shit?
Depends.
Like on a big wall.
Depends. Like everything's different, but a lot of times we mock it up. We
do like paper.
Sometimes we do like stencil. Sometimes we do projector. Sometimes we do like I can just draw it. Or
right.
It just depends on the location.
Sure.
But there's like real execution in it. It's not like we just show up and like, hey, what are we gonna do? Yeah,
you got your shit down.
I got my we got like ideas down.
Alwa Gordon says, dude, he is seriously such a beast. Question: how do you decide your message that you want to portray? And I know I'm sure we've talked about a lot of these. I just like to give a shit.
The way I like to like talk.
Does the idea come before the art or vice versa?
The idea always comes before the art.
First, you always have it down.
That's what Cal Arts taught me. Like I said.
So do you keep it like shit? And do you have like notes in your phone like a rapper?
I don't believe that. This is my theory of getting the idea down perfectly is that if I have an idea and I don't execute it right away, if the idea is still in my head later, then it's a proper idea. That means that's stuck with me. Like, damn, if that's stuck with me, it'll stick with someone else.
Right.
And then we execute like sketching and drawing and the character and then the colors and the mural and blah, blah, blah.
Garen Weeks says, where do you get creative inspiration from?
Life. Like, you look around, like I said, I didn't have TV growing up. I didn't have internet. My eyes are very caught on to details and subtleties that a lot of people sometimes seem to let slide by. So those things really affect me. And people say I'm dramatic or whatever, but so those things that affect me are affecting the people closest to me or even people that I don't know. And I'm like, wow, that's a real thing. Yeah. I try and speak on those things.
Right. Carter Rodman says, when you're putting a celebrity in an older portrait, would you rather it be matching the style of the older portrait or switching up the style completely and using methods and techniques from another time period in a Renaissance style painting of a celebrity?
Oh, so they're talking about now royalty. That was my second collection.
Oh.
We didn't really touch upon that, but
Yeah.
it was a collection I did after I did Lost Values, right before I moved to Paris. And the idea was to create royalty for the Americas, because when you live in Europe and you go throughout Europe,
Right.
you can see the history on the walls and the artwork, and I didn't think the U.S. had that. So when I came back, we did now royalty here in the U.S. for America,
Mm-hmm.
and we use a lot of rappers, but we were trying to get the body language of the portrait to match the body language of the actual hip-hop star.
Oh, I see.
So it was very specific.
Which I think
You have one right there.
right
yeah.
there at 50. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can see it in this. I'm leaning forward. Nah, damn it. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I got
Ooh, I'll
your
get you
pics.
pictures.
Yeah. Put that shit up in the edit. Let me see. I got one more. I'll just pop
You can
it
give
on.
me all of them. It's fine.
David Malave. Shout out to Dave Malave. It's my intern.
That's tight.
He's not even an intern anymore. He's just part of Black on the Cream. He says, what's the process like from start to finish of securing opportunities to paint a mural on the side of a business? How do you sell your art in a way that these businesses can see the benefit of displaying your art? But right now, I think the way you say it, he goes, also, I love how you did the Champion Kai collaboration. How, I guess, like, at this point, a lot of people are asking you to come put their shit on there, but is there ever some case where you, like, need a building specific for a piece that you want to do?
So a lot of times I like to pick my spots by foot traffic,
That makes sense.
or in LA car traffic or whatever.
You mean you don't go out and put shit in the desert?
I did once. I want to. There's a big project I'm working on for the desert.
Really?
Yeah. But I try and pick out like high traffic locations where the work. So context of everything is important. So let's say I get a wall in Beverly Hills. I'm going to
Yeah.
try and make sure that that wall speaks to people that live in Beverly Hills.
Right.
I'm not going to do something that would speak to someone in Iowa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You have different mentalities, different lifestyles, different thought processes. You have different things affecting you every day.
Yeah.
So I try and speak to the location and the context of that wall, but I like to pick my walls on traffic.
That makes sense.
It's just yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think before I met you, I remember, because I lived in Studio City and I would Uber all the way over to Wilshire to work with Andrew on the dock and shit, and I would see you had a piece like off Laurel Canyon.
Yeah.
And I would see that all the time, and then I met you, then I realized that it was your shit. I'm like, oh fuck.
And the piece off Laurel Canyon was like the bird with the tree.
I'm trying to remember what it was. My brain's terrible.
Yeah.
You apparently have
Yeah.
a good one. I'm terrible
It
at
was
this.
like the bird walking behind.
Yeah.
Behind a person, behind carrying a tree, and it was about how
Oh yeah.
they're developing the canyon and
Mm.
ruining the canyon
Right.
because they're tearing down nature and taking away homes for the natural life to build out these houses.
Crazy.
So it was kind of speaking about that exact context. Like I
That's
put that
dope.
work in that context for
That's
that
fucking
reason.
crazy. That's really tight. Do you have any other ones?
No, I don't think so. A
It's
lot
all
of people
good.
are just like, "Yo, you're a beast. Yo, I love what you do."
It's humbling though. That's
yeah,
good.
it's cool. It's just like, if you got questions,
Ask
it's
a
the perfect
question.
time.
Yeah, I'm reading shit right
yeah,
now. Fuck.
no, there isn't much. There's all the like, congratulations
Yeah,
stuff.
no. People, I think, truly respect it or whatever, and they see the cleverness behind it. And that's what's cool is when you actually can soak in those moments or whatever. And oh fuck, I love even the beach shit that you had
Yeah.
up in the beach and
Yeah.
you would, like that stuff.
You see, like I did, like the guy bringing the fish back to the ocean. Like that's the perfect context is at the beach.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put that
Right.
on the side of the
Yeah.
highway. You know what
No,
I mean?
that's really cool.
But that's kind of pretty much it.
And
And it's kind of weird when people like what I do.
you just sold these motherfuckers out.
Oh yeah.
That was tight. I
That
was
was
here
cool.
like the day
Yeah,
before
you were
you
here
dropped
the day
it.
before, yeah. They sold out. It was cool. It's just that, like, when I do hoodies or I do like apparel or I do a print, that's for the fans. It really is for the fans. People don't understand that.
Right.
People are like, "Oh, you're trying to make a lot of money or whatever." I'm like, "No, this is a bigger headache than it is
Yeah.
anything.
Right.
This is like so that people who can't afford a painting or can't afford to like a one-of-one work, they can have a little something. This is
Sure.
like me saying, "Thank you for your support. Thank you for following me. Thank you for building me up.
Right.
Here's something back."
Mm.
I'm not trying to nickel and dime everyone. I'm just trying to say, here it is, but it does take time. It does take effort. It does stop my whole team from doing other things that are important. So
Yeah, because alright, so this hoodie that I'm wearing, if you're not watching YouTube, it's like got paint everywhere because this is like what you look like when you
yeah,
paint.
so this
shit,
is
right?
my actual hoodie. And
the one he's wearing is like
Yeah.
the OG version, right?
yeah,
Crazy.
and you're wearing the replica of it. So
Right.
the idea was every time I used to go out wearing this hoodie, I go out in like the clothes I work in.
Right.
So people were like, "Oh my God, I love your sweater. Can I buy it off you?" I was like, "What do you mean? Like all the paint and everything?" Like, I'm like, if you really want paint on stuff, like we can make that happen.
Right.
But I got that over and over. I must have gotten like hundreds of times, and I realized people like what I do because of the history and the hard work in it. So I'm not gonna sell you something plain. I'm gonna give you the same hard work on yours.
Right.
Because you've helped me do all this hard work. You've helped me build this, so you get to enjoy. Like these are kind of like general badges.
Right.
Like this is the night we painted that mural, and this is the night that
That's dope.
I almost fell off this ladder, and this is the night when we painted with Chris, and this is. But you were all. Everyone was part of that. Every
Right.
fan, every follower, everyone supporting me was part of that. So you get the same badges that I have.
How many were there?
There was 150.
150.
And 150 sold out.
Crazy.
Thank
And it was
God.
cool because it came in like a box where he also gave you another piece of art if you bought the box.
I hand painted the box, every single box myself.
I cut mine out and put it in a thing.
That's so tight. But like for a lot of artists, what I did on the box is like what they consider like a fine art piece.
Right?
So I was like, that's what I try and do. I try to make sure everything I do is for you as a fan and for you as a follower.
Right.
Like, thank you. I'm trying to give you an experience and let you enjoy the experience. I'm not trying to like just take your money. I don't really care about money.
Are you going to do more of these?
I don't know. Like,
Just like,
it just is just for you guys. It's just so much work.
Right.
And it's so tiring.
damn. I
And,
told
like-
him he needs an intern.
Yeah.
He needs it for real. But hard to trust people out here in these
Yeah.
motherfucking streets.
But it's just like, it's so much work. And having like bringing someone in to learn my secrets, I'm very like cautious about.
Right. No,
But-
yeah, that's...
Yeah, but like you gave me more hope about it. You're like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is
Yeah.
how you're supposed to do it.
Dave
But
is a good
yeah.
example of that. Like, dude, he ended up coming on the Beyonce project with me.
That's
and he's
crazy.
a fucking random person from
Oh,
the
yeah.
community itself and just applied.
That's crazy. Like, you've been blessed with that. Like, I've had some bad experiences, some great experiences.
I've had bad ones too. I totally fucking get it because it's
Yeah.
hard, but I don't know. You kind of just have to...
You kind of have to do it your way.
Yeah.
And what I do isn't taught in school.
Mm.
Parts of it are, but so it's kind of hard for me to say like, yeah, you come and watch everything I do, and I'm supposed to trust you, and I don't even know like your
Yeah.
background and who you are.
Right.
So I'm very like, I have a very close knit circle, and we try and keep it close knit.
Right.
And if everyone in the circle co-signs, then you're allowed in the circle.
Mm. I see you. Makes sense.
So
So you gotta get the stamp approved from
from everybody. And even if I approve someone and the whole crew doesn't approve, they're not approved.
Right.
Like, I'll get like, yo, we don't really fuck with that person.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, okay, then they gotta go.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Is there damn, we did 2 hours and 44 motherfucking minutes,
That's
dog.
a
We
long
talked.
time.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to plug at the end of this?
No, just like if you really like people who are hitting me up on Instagram about sweaters, if you follow Instagram, you'll know about the next one that's coming out because
Yeah.
people are upset that it's sold out. And if you're wondering when my next show is or my next mural, or just stay tuned to Instagram. I don't have a good enough platform to be able to do like MailChimp and all these things, and I apologize for that. I will work on that.
Yo, I'm gonna
And
help him out with this shit. 'Cause there's some money in that shit too. Boy,
it's not about, like I said, like if it was always about money, like we would have had a business partner investor in it, and
yeah, that's true.
I'd have been making a lot of more money. But at the same time, I like the natural growth and the natural understanding.
Well, it's just this is the problem. I don't look at it like, yo, you're missing out on that opportunity
Mhm.
to make dollars. It's the fact that what you're talking about is fans that are disappointed
Right,
that they
yeah.
couldn't see the drop.
Yeah.
It's because fucking the algorithm changes every
yeah.
week, and all of a sudden now people don't get your post. Like I hate when I see a post about like, what the fuck just happened yesterday? The LA thing that happened here, and all
I
the
don't
people
even
dressed. It's like the gala or some shit.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, Met Gala.
Yeah, the Met Gala. They did that shit. And then today I'm sitting swiping as if this just happened. And I'm
Yeah, I
seeing
feel you.
pictures from last night. I'm like, yo, I don't, what the fuck?
Yeah, I feel you.
And
But
so that sucks.
at the same time, like when I'm invested in something, I type in that name and I double check.
Oh, like to be, yeah, you're
just
on
like just double check, and I'm gonna try and get my shit down to make sure like you get a MailChimp email and you get like.
Right,
but I'm not trying to be obnoxious and say like, come buy my shit.
Oh, yeah, no, for
no,
sure.
I'm just like, this is happening. Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're about it, you're about it. If you're gonna miss out, you're gonna
and
miss
it's
out.
working because that motherfucker sold out.
Yeah, but at the
That's
same time,
crazy.
I feel bad like when people hit us up like, oh, can I get a small like. When I say sold out, like we
It's
sold
gone.
out, we're gone.
Yeah.
Like, if you messed up, if you got the wrong size, I can't even fix that.
Right.
Like, you got the wrong size. My bad. Like, there's nothing.
Damn.
I don't even have one of the ones we released.
Right.
I'm wearing the
original
OG original one, but like I don't have one of the ones. Like,
That's crazy.
because when we say sold out, it's gone.
Yeah, that's sick.
It's cool, but at the same time, like I feel bad, so
But that's
I know-
part of it. That's
yeah.
what's cool about a limited edition. It's
And-
like you would be bummed
oh,
if you found out the
found
guy was giving fucking
Yeah.
everyone will make it work.
Yeah.
Like,
But at the same time, like I also realized that there's space for me to grow, and I need to grow in that communicating realm. Like I need to be able to communicate and tell you, look, this is dropping. Oh, we're doing the St. Louis Museum. Like no one knows about the St. Louis Museum because I don't know how to talk about it.
right.
Like there's a way to communicate to people that I need to work on, and there's
Sure.
you can always grow as a person, as an artist, and as a creator, as a
Yeah.
businessman, as whatever. And I think it's important to realize you need to grow.
That's dope.
So I promise I'll work on that.
They're like, good. That's what we wanted to hear. That's why I waited this whole fucking time to see
yeah.
that he's working on that communication. All right, cool, dude. Well,
Thank you,
if
man.
people made it this far in the podcast, do you have Twitter?
Yeah, I have. It's Kai Aspire Art.
Do you use it ever? All right, if people,
I'm a visual guy. Like I said, like I try and speak with no words. So
right.
Twitter is the opposite.
Okay, well, get on Instagram and then blow up whatever his most
Yeah.
recent thing is with, you get to use a hashtag. I let
Yeah.
people pick a hashtag.
So mine's at Kai Art.
No,
Oh.
it has to be like
Like-
something not typical.
Something not typical.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna remember it.
Andrew Sandler, I know, that's what's funny, is like Andrew Sandler, when we did his,
Uh-huh.
he said something like, he literally said Trump, I don't know. So it turned out to hashtag Trump IDK.
Okay. So
And people still will send me Trump IDK on Twitter and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck is this from?
I feel you. We'll do Love Always Wins.
Love always wins. All right, so hashtag it, shit, and tag me in
Yeah.
it so I know. And then
Love Always Wins, guys.
you're a true fan if you really made this one. That was dope. All right, dog. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you
Yep.
too.
Thanks,
Thank you.
man. Cut.